This is what
This
all
has
the
been the
players
most
here
competitive year of Apex. The floor is only going to get...
Who is going to be the team to challenge the titans of TSM?
From legacy to a dynasty, it is now complete for TSM. TSM up in the skies, house look down from the heavens! London belongs to TSM! But Dark Zero are losing! They're taking damage, but no! Here comes Zero! Zero! The captain! The ideas of it! Dark Zero are your champions! I think we're starting to see a bit of a rivalry develop in Apex Legends. As these trophies just keep going back and forth. Dark Zero, TSM, it's always one of those two teams. Unbelievable final we've had here today.
Wall and eliminating TSM as the first team to go in the log and fourth.
Optic Gaming might be about to break records. Dropped. Tries to move in to clean up the pieces. Optic will fall.
TSM are your Game 6 champions.
And TSM. This is going to be SAF versus TSM in the final fight. A chance for Legacy to become a dynasty with a hostile takeover. TSM are your champions.
Do you fear me, pilot?
I don't fear anything. Can you say the same?
undisputed champions of APAC-South in the ALGS.
Such a good spot here. Provides anyone coverage for Popcorn. Bradley kicks down and out already. Bristol strike there.
About to go down. 1v1, 1v1.
Oh, what? Oh, Shady. He finds the target.
Hey, that's going to be a punishing blow.
Tree is covered. Fly high to Senpai. The wraparound is perfect.
What? No! Wants to overextend. So does Kashira.
Does get spotted out. The pings go down.
Oh my God! It's the 360! What a beast!
And thank you for joining us again. We're at the Long Shot production and we've been broadcasting the talent here in APAC South. You know, we've got teams from Australia, Singapore, Thailand, China, and more competing for a spot at LAN. And of course, an insane prize pool because we're a major region now. I hope you guys at home. And of course, our casters have had enough snacks to fuel another 6 matches and watch A and B fight for victory. Genome, I hope you're ready to watch another dominating bunch of games. I see you got chocolate there. Share?
Yeah, I got some top deck, you know. Just seeing how that plays out, can mix it up a little bit. Look, if you want to have some lace, it's actually a family block, so I've got enough to share. You know, just like we've got enough Play Apex to go around for everybody here today with 2 series, 12 games. That's a lot of Apex action, frankly.
Yeah, and you know, we're going to be heading back to World's Edge soon. You know, we saw a few teams such as Boogie Borders and DreamFire continue to show us what they are made of. You know, they're going to compete and play another 6 matches again. But Elfish, we've got some big gunners coming back into play for us. Legends Gaming is one that we need to keep our sights on. The best logo ever, and I keep saying it, Lightning Unicorn. Are you excited to see some of these teams compete?
I'm definitely excited to see Legends Gaming compete. I think, you know, obviously there's no reason you wouldn't be. They are at the current point, I guess, not the halfway point of the competition, but after having seen each team play like basically the same amount of lobbies, 4 lobbies each, they are the team on top of the overall standings, so no reason not to be excited about them. They took a first and a second in their lobbies last week, and obviously they'll be looking to replicate that. Another couple of teams that I'm kind of keen to see are Serenity and Bearclaw, who I thought were a little bit slow actually last week. They were a little bit slower, I should say, last week than what they were able to do earlier on, but they're certainly still up there in that conversation as well. So for me, those are probably the 3 teams that I'm kind of trying to keep an eye on.
Yeah, Bearclaw, you know, they can have a hit or miss kind of game, so hopefully we can see some action pack from them. Now, I missed out on some fun last week, and I'm a little bit livid about it, because apparently the sun was shining down on you, Genome, and something just reflected in your eyes, and then we have a wonderful person that actually did a couple of sketches for us, so hopefully we can show you exactly what we're talking about here, but I am absolutely cackling at the one about you. Aren't you just gorgeous there, Genome?
I wish I looked that good all the time, frankly. But yeah, I had my blind fell off the ceiling last week. Had a bit of a malfunction. But yeah, it was Soul Bagels on Reddit. Did a bunch of drawings for us and the other regions as well. But yeah, we just wanted to shout out 2 of these, the APAC South ones. This one, which I've promptly made my profile picture on Discord because it was just so lovely. I'm pretty sure that's Dax sitting up on my my hat there.
Oh, yes, I see the little glasses. There he is. That's freaking great. I know there was also one, I think, from one of the players that were getting Skynaded, peppering with Skynades, Genome.
Yeah, we had our socials guy, Casa, made that great mix-up of when we had the Boogie Borders listen in, and we had Panna saying, oh, it's a bad vert, and then, of course, 1 second later, he looks up and gets stuck in the absolute forehead with a vert nade. So this is just a lovely little sketch of that moment as he realized his doom was upon him. Yeah, so look, shout out to that. You know, look, if anyone else wants to, you know, puts up some epic content, you know, we're more than happy to give it a shout out here. on Play Apex, because that was honestly an awesome effort.
Yeah, that's what I look like when I go outside and the sun's shining on me, because, you know, you're going to go touch some grass as a gamer. But that's exactly the face I pull as well, getting in the sunshine. But yeah, we love the talent here. You know, we have a lot of great creators that seem to draw up some wonderful things. And of course, we can't forget about the talent of our teams here in APAC-South. You know, we've touched on it before with Dark Zero, Moist. You know, we've done some, had some amazing teams kind of out of our region. And hopefully you guys can see a couple more coming through now. But you know what, like taking a look at the overall leaderboard, if we can pull that up, you know, we've got Legends Gaming, I believe, still out in front in overall. So, you know, to see them come and play today, hopefully, you know, they've got their socks pulled up, because they could still take the lead, Elfish, and they could keep it strong.
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously a pretty relevant time to actually be looking at the scoreboard, because as we just mentioned, every team has now played the same amount of games. Everyone's played 4 lobbies. So, you know, if you sort of extrapolate that over the course of the entire season, this actually might be where things kind of end at the end of week 5 if everything continues in the same trajectory. So I suppose the important teams to kind of be talking about are those ones that are maybe in the position where MDY White is, all the way down to, you know, the likes of maybe Team Burger, DreamFire potentially are that kind of cutoff point where you really have to be looking at those teams kind of in the middle of the pack and thinking about how far up can they actually push themselves? Can they get themselves into that top 10? Certainly a good opportunity to do so over the course of the next couple of weeks. But also, you know, maybe someone like AGL, who's been like a little bit up and down, they just don't want to be on that cutoff point anymore. They really need to be doing their best to make sure that they're at least giving themselves a little bit of a buffer going into that final week of competition too. So a couple of important key sort of swing positions on that leaderboard that we're going to be focusing in on.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And I said at the start, I had a conversation with Pricey just to see how they were sort of feeling going in it. And that's Pricey from Team Burger. You know, this is make or break for them, even though they're sitting a little bit lower. So, you know, he kind of felt, you know, that the team aren't performing as well. And Genome, I remember you're talking, you know, he's new to the IGL role. So this is something that, you know, he is sort of trying to get a hold of. You know, they were placing top 8 in the first couple of weeks in the group standings. Had a minor setback, I believe, in the A versus B last week, and then flipped it all around in the last 6 matches of last week. So, you know, Pricey dishes out some high damage games. So I know that the pressure will be on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, Sharky's coming back from a break. I think the other thing is, you know, they've struggled a little bit with their POIs as well, right? You know, playing from Zeus Station can be a little bit tough. You don't get priority rotations to many zones, honestly, at all. A lot of the time you're gravity cannoning into your own POI just to grab your loot and then get out. And that can really hurt your rotation times, like a lot. So, yeah, you know, if we're thinking about how good those POIs are to play from and how that affects their standing as an overall team, they've got some working out to do in these last couple of weeks if they want to push themselves up into that top 8.
Yeah, you know, like you said, they're coming out of Zeus Station. I believe if we have a look at the beacon, there might actually be a contest happening right in front of them. So, you know, if they play it smart, they could take that out. But, you know, as we move over to World's Edge, Elfish, why don't you take us through where our teams will be landing?
Well, we'll have a quick look at things, and obviously as we have kind of come to expect off of our first lobby, it's generally going to be pretty chill so far on World's Edge. I know on Storm Point we're going to be kind of looking for that DNZ and KPG contest, so that might be a little bit of a shift based on what we had from the last lobby, where I think Storm Point there wasn't really too much in the ways of contests going on. World's Edge we had a little bit of a contest. I don't believe that Lava Siphon contest is going to be going on in this lobby. Obviously, at least one of those teams is not going to be playing in it, so we'll have to sort of wait and see if there's anything else, you know, any of the little tricks of the trade coming through here. But you'd love to be in the position that AGL is in, being able to get such a wide swath of loot available to you coming through from Trials. And obviously the side of Skyhook there as well. So fantastic stuff for them. Love that position. And everyone else, you know, so far so good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the big giveaway there about Lava Siphon Elfish is that you've got 2 teams are way lower down the standings contesting for Lava Siphon, right? And that generally happens in the regions when you've got one monster team sitting in there for the other group. So that, of course, is going to be Legends Gaming, as we'll see in a second. And that means there's a bit of a vacuum when they're not playing, as they weren't in our previous series. And so you see the other teams who don't necessarily love their POIs try and flood in and get, grab some extra loot that way and some extra KP in the terms of NoCredit and how well they were doing off drop.
Yeah, I'm seeing actually a couple more contests at least here. I mean, that doesn't always necessarily mean that that's what's going to translate into the server. Maybe, the teams say that they're going to drop one place and then they end up going somewhere else, or they have an initial little back and forth in that first game and then one of them ends up moving on. So we'll have to sort of keep an eye on whether or not that's going to happen. Should be interesting, should be exciting. Obviously, I personally like to see those hot drops coming through because it gives us something to pay attention to in the first 5-10 minutes of the game.
I mean, the Harvester one's been really fun so far. We've seen, like Revenant come through. Not really sure. I think they ended up giving up that pick because I didn't think it made a huge amount of sense over there. But, Valkyrie literally, for the first time, not because of her style, the banisters that you have surrounding the rim of Harvester that do give you a lot of advantage when you can look down on the other team. So height just so important that teams really valuing the Horizon, the Valkyrie there.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see that. We saw in our previous matches, I was sort of looking at a lot of Valkyrie plays as well. And yeah, you didn't really see many of the takeoffs from Valkyrie. It was definitely more just doing that quick little bunny hop onto height to get themselves out of Wade's danger. But yeah, if we have a look at the next graphic here, we can take you into having a look further of our high damage players. And there's the name we know, Gino. Easy Flash, back on the board.
He is, but the reason we're bringing this one up, Lace, is because in that last series, Gugu overtook Easy Flash to become the kill leader here in APAC South. So as you can see, Easy Flash obviously no slouch, 57 kills already just on his back so far going into this season. But Gugu on the roller, #1. Some people have called him the best Horizon controller player in the world. I don't know if I'd go that far. Obviously, you've got people like Hal out there that you're trying to compete with. Maybe if you take the IGL part out of the equation, it's more of a... comparison there. But obviously, in terms of just pure fighting power, Gugu has it in spades, doing more than 1,000 damage on average. Doesn't matter where he's turning up. He is going to be laying that down. And, the incredible clutch that we saw him pull off at Countdown earlier today as well shows you how he's racking up so many kills.
So, I wonder if Easy Flash is just sitting here watching this before they get into the matches because, this is something that you want to take over. You want to be these top teams. You want to be this top player and not trickling too far behind what Gugu has showed us today. But you know what? Easy Flash, and especially being on the Legends Gaming team, we never know what's going to happen. Elfish, it's just going to be an exceptional round of games. But, we still got teams like Kill Devil coming through. There were a little bit of a rocky start in our first lot of matches, but they seem to be picking it up slowly. So hopefully Kill Devil can do something this match without the contest.
Well, that was the important talking point, wasn't it? That they had the contests on World's Edge and they basically got no points out of it. I think they actually went 0 points for every single World's Edge game. And then as soon as they got into Storm Point, if I have a quick look back here, they picked up 27 points in their last 3 games. So if you would actually, essentially do that, but do it on both maps, you'd actually be at 54 points, which would have been enough to actually finish 3rd. So it's not as if they had a bad Storm Point at all. And actually, to the point of them having a contest, I think they might actually have a contest here, just based on what we saw there from the Beacon on World's Edge as well. So that'll be something that we have to watch. I think it was against Akuma. And even if that was a different POI, if I remember rightly, not Lava Siphon. Even if they were to go back over toward Lava Siphon, there's still going to be a contest there for them. So I'm not sure where they're going to end up. Either way, it seems like they're kind of out of the frying pan into the fire. But hopefully things are going to go better for KD. We'll see how we'll have to wait and see.
Because they're down at Stacks versus Akuma. We had that that contest. Dome's open near them, so there definitely is the option for one of those teams to just fly it a little bit further and take that out. But Dome's kind of it's like the ugly stepchild, right? No no one really wants to land there. You kind of only land there if
yeah,
you
but
have
if it's the
to,
difference
but-
between getting literally 0 points out of 3 games and maybe getting, like, let's say even 5 points. 5 points sucks out of 3 games, but 5 points is better than 0, you know? I'm probably going to take those odds.
Good maths, yep.
Yep, quick
Yeah.
maths on broadcast. That's me, mate.
That's
Big
it.
brain.
Quick maths. We love that. But, you know, we sort of had a look at the ring pools at the start of our day today. And, you know, Boogie Borders, we've been obviously keeping an eye on them. And I know what they're going out of, is it Lava Fisher, I think,
Yep,
right at the
yep,
end there.
and
then,
Mirage Etoile.
Yep, and then Mirage Etoile is usually where we see a bit of a zone pull. You know, they've done quite well when that sort of pulls to them there. Do you reckon they'll keep the same sort of, I guess, attraction to that spot, Gino?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll be starting off from there. You know, will the zone be attracted to them is a different question. You know, they got that awesome zone pool that allowed them to get the top 3 from that side. But yeah, like, I mean, I keep talking about the fact that they are the ones who get Mirage Etoile, and, you know, in other times, you know, sometimes we see the staging team get that. Oh man, as a Havoc player, as a guy who just loves the Havoc, seeing this turbocharger absolutely delete 2 people in one clip. I mean, okay, let's talk about it for a second here, right? Because we've actually seen a massive uptick in how much the Havoc gets used this split. And a lot of that is just due to how much damage you have in the mag, right? You know, you can, yeah, exactly. You can take down 2 people with 1 clip there. You can't do that with an R99. Maybe you damage them slightly faster, but you can't do that with a lot of other guns. And that shows exactly why people have started to cotton onto the Havoc as a weapon of choice, even sometimes if you don't have the turbocharger.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, you know, obviously we've seen a lot of that. You know, what in comparison, like, would you think, Gino, to, like, you know, using the Devotion? Why are we seeing more Havoc users over that? You know, I guess both energy guns that can absolutely, you know, one clip someone and then take on another one.
Okay, well, I would personally say that the Devotion is borderline useless without the turbocharger. You know, back when it was in the care package, people got into it a bit. Even back then, honestly, I was still kind of like a Havoc guy. But I just, yeah, like at close range, the Devo really can rip you apart. But the Havoc has almost as much DPS, you know, close, but then also has far better accuracy when you're looking long range and being able to do some chip damage, all that kind of stuff. It's just so much more versatile than the Devotion is. And if you go and have a look at the weapon stats for this split so far, I mean, the Havoc is sitting at 5th overall in terms of kills attributed to that weapon so far. You know, it's Volt 3030, Car R99, so obviously there still is a lot of you know, SMGs out there. I think prevalence of the Digi and the Bang meta is a big part of that. But the Havoc sitting below that, now even above the Nemesis. There's about double the kills for Havoc than there is of Nemesis, which is a big difference from last year.
Yeah, exactly right. So, you know, like I was saying, like Nemesis used to be just taking on board, like, over everything. Like, you could, if you could just connect every shot, you would drop
100%.
extremely fast. So, we're just going to take a quick look at a video that we've prepared for you guys. Have a look.
Look, I mean, this is what this has been the most competitive year of Apex. Who is only going to get? Who is going to be the team to challenge the titans of TSM?
From legacy to a dynasty, it is now complete for TSM. TSM up in the skies, how's look down from the heavens? To TSM. But Dark Zero are losing, they're taking damage, but no! Here comes Zero! Zero! The captain! The ideas of Dark Zero are your champions! I think we're starting to see a bit of a rivalry develop in Apex Legends. As these trophies just keep going back and forth, Dark Zero, TSM, it's always one of those 2 teams. Unbelievable final we've had here today.
And eliminating TSM as the first team to go in the log and forth.
don't fear anything. Can you say the same?
We love the passion that we see there as we're getting and gearing ready to join our next lot. I think it's A versus B. We're going to be heading into match 1 on World's Edge. I was just sort of taking a look at what everybody sort of did last week in the A versus C standings and seeing some of these teams come back in. You know, I want to have a quick look at Bearclaw Gaming. I just don't want them to be underrated because they can do amazing things when they get it together, Gino.
Yeah, I mean, Bearclaw, that's Belkin, Rudine, and Heck, of course. Belkin's really been the tip of the spear for these guys. He's been playing a lot of Bloodhound this season, and honestly, he's been doing incredible amounts of damage, but he's also been doing a lot of ratting. We've actually seen him alive by himself a lot of the time, so if they can finally get into a position where they're playing as a trio, honestly, they look really good, but they seem to be struggling to sort of, win team fights cleanly.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, we've got to keep a close eye on these teams. But here we go. We are itching and raring to go. We're going to head into match 1 on World's Edge.
All right, well, yeah, here we go. Match 1 or match 7, depending on how long you've been here with us today. This is our second lobby of the day, and that's a great way to start. DNZ straight on in. Bolan, he's managed to get the gold armor. And, well, you won't want to be on the receiving end of this engagement when you're fighting gold against white. What is going on? It's just an absolute mess. Oh, dearie me. DNZ down to just the 1 member. KPG, though, have a couple, and it's going to be DNZ, unfortunately, that are going to be saying goodbye pretty early on in this.
Just doing laps at this point. But yeah, we do have also that stacks contest going on as well. This one takes a little bit longer to play out, but Akuma is almost done with Kill Devil already. And if Luhan doesn't get out of here, though he is making his way towards Dome, they're going up. Just trying to get some... Just trying to get a beam on him, get some sights on him. It doesn't look like they are. So Luan will go to Dome. It's complete. There's no one there, right? Like, there's a crafter, there's a beacon, there's a respawn beacon. So, yeah, look, they'll be able to craft the banners and get everyone back. Obviously, that's one of the reasons you play Conduit in these contests, to give you the that option if the start of it doesn't go well for you.
Yeah, but it is just, unfortunately, a very similar kind of story for KD, isn't it? They just started so poorly on that map, and they've done it again. They've started so poorly on this map again, going into the second lobby. So World's Edge is just not being kind to them in any way, shape, or form. And DNZ as well, man. They just got kind of booked, actually, didn't they? So I believe they do contest with KPG on Storm Point as well, or am I wrong? So that's going to be...
Yeah, we see that up at Lightning
Round. 6
Round.
games are going to be a contest, all 6 rounds.
Yeah, and they've been struggling with that Lightning Rod contest as well, Elfish. So, yeah, you're right. It could be a very tough day for DNZ with how well that one started off for them.
Yeah, exactly.
KPG, ooh, we see a Revenant pick in there. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, yeah, I mean, you know, we talked about that. We have seen this in their contest before, but I'm just like, they swapped, oh my God. They swapped off it. Wow, you're really trying to make that hard to me.
Swipe a swap.
They swapped off it at the end of the last contest, and I kind of approve of that decision, but it feels like they've, I don't know, maybe the coach is in their ear or something like that, saying, nope, we're going to go back to it, and this time, at least, it has worked out.
Well, things all slowed down after those initial contests. Boogie board is right up on top of Thermal Station. Be one of those positions that ends up being pretty strong later on down the track. And KPG, they don't seem to want to stop fighting right here. Lance have been able to find himself a knock onto one of the War Monster Firebird members, but there is a trade back, though. It's 2-for-1, actually, favoring KPG right here. And so Land being down is not the biggest of concerns, because, well, Shark is on his bike. And I'll tell you what, that's an interesting image, a Shark on a bike, but he is out of there.
Alright, well, if he can make it away, perhaps they can live another day, but Kill Devil, as you can see in the kill feed, did not. They did manage to get all 3 members up again, but then they had to meet Overlook Entertainment, who I guess are watching the kill feed and went down to challenge them at Dome.
Right hand. Using one of their members, now two of their members. It's like a counting game. I'm in preschool. 1, 2. How many can we get to? Maybe 3 here for NoCredit is what they're going to be looking for. Very cheeky indeed. Is very much on the chase and getting some good damage out with that Vault already. Oh, the last spray maybe wasn't quite so.
We'll just forget that one happened.
Yeah. It was looking real good until that point. I was like, wow, he's getting some good chip damage every single time, and then nothing. But there's no escape.
It's like when you know that they're going to die already, right? Like, you've done most of the damage. Like, oh, it's going to happen. You kind of take your foot off the pedal a bit.
One bullet.
Yeah, you're just like, I'll just spray. I won't even, worry about the recoil. One of the bullets will hit them eventually.
I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm just going to shoot in their general direction. Like, I'm not really focusing on aiming, you know what I mean? Like, you just get a little bit lazy and you're like, I'll just put my crosshair sort of near them and shoot, and one of the bullets will hit, and then nothing hits, obviously, because you're not aiming at them. Kind of got to like recalibrate again and be like, oh yeah. Anyway, Team Burger, they were a team that we talked a little bit about in that pre-match.
Yeah, they're down. They've got Legends Gaming sitting right above them in the tunnel, and you can see they're actually just staring all the way across. That's Heroes on the other side, sharing the tracks with them. Sadly, no train. What is it, the Winter Express, or I don't know if that's only. I don't know if the train is only the Winter Express in that particular game mode, but you know, the train that used to run its way around World's Edge no longer available to join these two teams up. And honestly, this is actually a pretty good spot for the Burger Boys to be playing in, because the zone, hard to say at this point, but it could be coming this side of the walls, could come south of the mountains and sort of end up somewhere in that thermal station region.
Yeah, well, Kossi, Raki, and Pana again up the top of the thermal station are probably the ones that are feeling pretty good about themselves. You've got Lightning Unicorn down the bottom as well. Zone continues to pull in that direction. They're going to be in a very powerful position, both of those teams. AGL are being very patient. They hear all this movement. It's NoCredit on the other side, so I wonder if AGL are going to pull the trigger, but we've got more to look at. It's Heroes getting eliminated by DreamFire, who will start their second lobby of the day with some degrees of success. Again, DreamFire is one of those teams where we're expecting big things, and they might be slowly working their way into this split, but what is going on here for AGL? That they are really just being very patient. I wonder if they're waiting for the crafter.
They've got a DC. I think that's why.
Yeah, one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, so XX is sitting, so I think they just need to sit tight and hope he gets back into the lobby. Fair enough. Not much more to say on that one, I guess. NoCredit, meanwhile, luckily for AGL, haven't spotted them out, so hopefully they can continue on their way. No Bloodhound will make that a little bit easier for AGL to get out with.
They're blissfully unaware, aren't they? Look at Mexus is just chilling.
Never know. Maybe the other two will decide to just pull the trigger here. But,
no shot.
I doubt it.
No way.
I doubt it.
Would not. No, I'm not doing it. Well, they've got to be careful they don't make too much noise. Zone in 50 seconds, so not a lot of time to get back in here.
Yeah.
That last member of AGL.
Moving back to more of the action. DreamFire obviously getting a little taste of it early. And they're playing on, you know, the Beacon House outside of staging. The ring will be moving further down south to pretty much where we talked about, centering on the train station at the moment, outside Thermal Station. So that means, yeah, those spots that we talked about earlier, like Legends Gaming playing from the top and Team Burger playing from underneath, are going to be pretty premium, honestly. And then, you know, teams like Lightning Unicorn who are playing the bottom of the tower, and Boogie Boarders who are playing the top of Thermal Station are also going to be sitting pretty for quite some time.
Well, Serenity was the team that you spoke about in the pre-show, in your, I guess, your highlight. I don't know what we're going to get to see from them today. I haven't really gotten to get much of an idea just yet, though it's obviously early days, and actually a couple of teams rotating in their direction. Overlooked is one of those.
Yeah, it's a hard rotation for them, right? They're coming from Climatizer. That is just about as far as you can go when World's Edge is concerned.
Just an update on AGL. Does not look like that disconnected player has come back yet, so they might be playing this one as a duo, which is pretty unfortunate because AGL was one of those teams that we were hoping to see some good stuff from, and you know, they were passable in the last lobby, but nothing too special. And they kind of need a big lobby here or there, otherwise they're going to kind of drop off the pace. And it's not the way you'd really want to be starting your second lobby, but it is what it is, unfortunately. It's been quite a calm game thus far, though, hasn't it? I guess part of that is because we did see so many of those early fights. There was a couple of contests early. A couple of teams got knocked off the peg, and so that's kind of freed up a little bit more space for pretty much everyone else.
It does. It makes it just a little bit easier as we see NoCredit waiting, lying in wait there for Akuma. Killerpos goes down in a matter of seconds, and now it's all up to KAKKOII. He's put down a very, very good conduit ult there, and the energy barricade actually saves Akuma. I mean, NoCredit were trying to just push through it, and it was, I don't know, I have to say, maybe the wrong decision there. Maybe they didn't have a choice, but I mean, they got the drop on them. Was that just like a straight up 2v3 from that point? That's incredible.
It was, yeah. I think you got to be feeling a little bit silly if you're NoCredit there. Akuma have kind of blitzed them. At least two members of Akuma have kind of blitzed them, so not ideal, but I guess it is what it is. And for Akuma, you can breathe a sigh of relief after basically having lost a player before that fight even started. Have a look at that ring pull, though. Holy moly.
It's a roller diff if we've ever seen one there from KAKKOII and Crusader. But yeah, you're right. White Flash, who could have actually held a really good spot on the top of that hill, evacing in to try and grab one of the buildings. I mean, yeah, look, also not really a bad choice, but they've dropped right on top of outside. But outside, I mean, they're bunkered up. They've got the Watson inside the building. Surely White Flash aren't going to push this. That would be a brave decision.
I don't know. If you're committed, you're committed, but are they committed at this point? No, they're not. They're just going to opt to go toward the other little building, which is certainly going to be playable as well. A lot of teams end up in one of these now times, so might not have been the initial plan, but it is certainly going to be playable enough for White Flash. And I tell you what, you'd probably rather be in here rather than out in the elements, because it is going to be getting pretty chaotic outside of this building in, well, probably 2-3 minutes or so as teams start to make their way in. So the saving grace, at least for this zone, is that Thermal Station is still in. But once that is moving away from Thermal Station, then we're going to be seeing some trouble.
I mean, you know, no Octane players in the lobby for Lace to cheer for at the moment, so she's going for, you know, the next best character to run at people. Bloodhound. Just assuming that's why she's on the Bearclaw gaming train. And that said, we're seeing them do kind of the opposite of that and just turtle behind Hex fences here. Because they've spotted out Lightning Unicorn ahead of them. But, you know, two Watson teams, who's going to engage there? Meanwhile, Serenity have been found by AGL.
AGL, again, those teams that really want to be making some points happen, and they have at least managed to get all three members back. Looks like XFPS has come back into the swing of things, but Serenity, oh, they're going to try and do a number 2. I mean, there's already been one crack going through, another player down. All right, so Serenity start well in this engagement. Catalyst Wall is keeping it a little bit busy, and Overlooked are also here to try to join the party. It looks like it's going to be a cluster of fun over on this side of the zone, and actually the winner of this engagement is going to put themselves in a pretty good spot. But there's a lot of teams vying for this position as well. It is an absolute mess. It's just chaos. And this is where really the fundamentals come into play. Serenity, one of those teams that's been eliminated now. AGL still surviving. It's KaKKOII hiding under the bridge. And you can see Killerpos there of Akuma has just decided to move away from all the shenanigans. So
tough there. Tough for Serenity. I mean, they needed to use utility early there to force the other teams away and just avoid that situation completely. Because, you know, once it kicked off, you could see with Overlooked coming through, even Killerpos from Akuma was looking from up on the north side. And once that fight kicked off, I don't really think there was any winning it there for Serenity. And that's it. It was a good spot, right? It's like if you've got some evacs over there, you can just sit on that side and then evac into the zone super late. And, you know, you kind of let the teams all on the west side fight it out and just thin the herd for you. So Serenity going to be unhappy that they weren't able to see that plan through to fruition, but Overlooked Entertainment might be taking that up in their stead.
KPG will look for a little bit more, and up and down we go. No shots exchanged though. Well, I guess that's worked out okay.
Okay, now zone closing. These teams on the buildings should be pretty safe as long as, you know, they don't get too many other renters joining them in the same space. AGL got found out by Overlooked Entertainment on the other side of the mountain, and DreamFire have managed to push up all the way into the tunnel. They're sitting with 2 kills to their name at the moment.
Yeah, Team Burger, oh, they're certainly suffering at this point in time. It's just pricey. He's got that Peacekeeper in hand, trying to do some work, but he's going to be overwhelmed. In the meanwhile, Boogie Board is also gone. Wow, Lightning Unicorn down as well. Like we expected, it was just going to be a bunch of teams getting knocked out.
I mean, that's hilarious, right? You're seeing a bang ult and missile swarm coming out there towards a completely empty spot because both of those teams died. Burger and Lightning Unicorn both going down. Legends Gaming, though, they're in a decent spot. Why don't we have a listen to what their plan is for the rest of Game 1?
There was someone still... Oh,
Player,
do you have ultimate
is
Soren,
the
player?
bottom part safe? Player, is the bottom part safe? That corner we crouch in, is that safe?
I don't know.
If there's a team above?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
We just play slow, I think, like going left.
You just have to jump out left, yeah.
Let's reposition here.
I'm gonna...
We gotta be careful not to take damage here,
Careful
yeah?
this, careful this.
Yeah.
Careful like also.
I'm just crouching here and looking up.
Yeah, some.
I'm
Flying.
up, jumping on us!
Jump.
Cat low!
Bang blast, they got. Bang,
Jump down!
The bang one.
I killed him.
Chill.
There's two dead.
Just play left. There's a guy here. Play red wall. Red side.
Yeah.
It's the last guy, by the way.
We have to climb up.
We
Just
just
kill him, I
killed
think,
this
Claire. Climb up, kill him.
30.
He died. He's gonna die.
I died.
10.
All right, Legends getting a little bit booked, and in the end, they are going to get knocked out in 8th place Fallout lobby. Going to be doing a number onto them, and then some as well. White Flash is also eliminated at their hands. That Prowler is certainly purring at this point in time, and Overlooked giving themselves a little bit of a respite for a moment, but they seem to be a little bit stuck in the middle of things, right? There's a lot of teams looking in their direction, and KPG is one of them.
Yeah, with the bang down, they don't have a lot of options to try and get this reset, and indeed, Surprisey completely removed from this. On the top side, we've got SWQ fighting for high ground supremacy here, but they're being challenged by Akuma. Can they hold them off?
Well, so far, doesn't really seem like SWQ is going to be able to do that. Akuma have taken control of the high ground. They're looking pretty good. They're looking pretty healthy. They're going to be given time to reset as well. This is exactly where you'd want to be, at least at the moment, though. Where that's going to leave them later on down the track when they do have to come off the top is perhaps going to be a bit more of a problem with DreamFire sitting right underneath them.
Yeah, I mean, you got KeepGoing Gaming, though. They're right stuck in the middle between everybody. I think that's going to be a tough angle to play. Outside are still in the buildings, only team over there. And then you've got DreamFire in the tunnels, or essentially below the high ground, where we just saw Akuma.
Outside are really struggling now. APG trying to put the pressure on them. Smokes are causing a little bit of a problem, but outside eventually is going to be found out. And that is the end of one more team. 3 remaining. It is DreamFire, it is Akuma, and it is KPG. And Akuma are kind of taking matters into their own hands as Philippos continues to take these peaks
Well, he had the Radiant transfer on him. It was a good time to go up when he's got that, sort of automatic healing feeding through. Pops the ult there, but doesn't necessarily get the damage onto DreamFire he wants. A lot of that is actually coming out of KPG, who are very healthy at the moment. And KPG, I think they might be able to take this.
I don't know. Killerpods is still doing a bit of a number on them as they're trying to rotate their way past. But yeah, you're right. They're certainly in a bit of a better spot because DreamFire and Akuma are just butting heads at the moment, basically battling for second place. And KPG is chilling. They don't have to do anything. Finally, Akuma are eliminated, and that is going to be KPG walking into their easiest victory.
Oh man, yeah, just playing the buildings there. They very much managed to lock down that position from an early point there and really capitalized on it. So congrats to KPG. I mean, the fact that they're playing through with a Revenant. We just saw a Revenant win a game, Lace. Anything to say about that?
We love the Rev picks there. We love it. We know that they keep swapping in and out and playing Revenant, but, a lot of our teams are probably feeling a little bit of the fatigue. So, keep going gaming. They're just going to absolutely full send. And if you've got to use a Revenant to do so, why not? But you could see exactly why they took out the first match. But what an amazing start to our groups A and B here in APAC-South. It's action-packed. It was a little bit quiet. But, it was the calm before the storm there in that match for a lot of our teams. Overlook Gaming as well, coming out strong with a few kills under their belt. But, it just wasn't enough to win the first match for them.
It wasn't, but we saw a couple of teams soak up most of the kills, actually, right? There was Overlooked on 8, Akuma on 11, DreamFire picked up 7 with the second place, and then KeepGoing Gaming, the winners, got 14. So that's honestly like most of the lobby just on the back side of those 4 teams at the pointy end of their rifles. So, yeah, you're right. It was a very concentrated lobby. NoCredit. Oh, man, that was a...
Were they the ones sitting there waiting, or was that...
I think it was their rap play, and it worked out in terms of, they caught the first team, the first person off guard, I should say, but boy, did that turn around quickly.
Yeah, some of their plays don't seem to be going so well. What we saw on Storm Point, them sort of a duo holding out the other teams with the fences, some of their decision-making doesn't seem to be, up there at the moment. And seeing that little rap play, I guess, proves that. But yeah, look at KeepGoing Gaming, just absolutely obliterating here, just waiting, biding their time, I guess, is, DreamFire, though, still being alive in the last 3. They've had such a big day today, Genome, and the fact that they're still in those top squads is exceptional.
Yeah, doing pretty well, aren't they? Their run here was very good. They were aggressive early and took that train tunnel away from... I'm trying to forget who was at one of the first teams that went out. Heroes, it was actually, yeah, down there in 17th. And that was honestly the key to the rest of the game from DreamFire. I mean, Heroes would have been in that position, be like, hey, guys, we're chilling. And but, you gotta keep watch on your back because there's going to be marauding teams like DreamFire out there that want to take that away from you. And in the end, still, what is that, like 16 points, I think it is, for DreamFire there. And that could have all gone the way of Heroes had they managed to hold them off.
Yeah, so they, just held on by the teeth there. And having a look at our overall scoreboard, KeepGoing Gaming, of course, sitting out pretty in front, 26. They are sort of leading, I guess, quite in front of Akuma.
Massive start for KPG or KGG, depending on, whether you're reading their name or their logo. Doesn't seem to quite match up. I'll get my head around it one day. Considering that over on Storm Point, as we talked about, those guys are contesting D and Z. This is a fantastic start, and this is exactly what they need. They can't count on points when we switch maps there, Lace. So, getting a win to start off with on World's Edge, just absolutely massive for their chances to pull out some split points today.
Yeah, exactly right. And we saw, I guess, Legends Gaming there, not sort of, I think they're about 10th, I believe, just sitting there on the scoreboard. They had a bit of a rough fight around the buildings and unfortunately getting knocked out and just having to play that side of the wall. But let's see what they can do in the next match. We're going to take ourselves a short break and we will see you shortly.
your champions. Dark Zero is going to be your champions of the Apex Legends Global Series.
And welcome back, our Apex Legends fans. We've just come out of game number 1, Groups A vs B, with KeepGoing Gaming taking victory, followed closely, but not too closely, by Akuma and DreamFire. We're about to head into our game number 2 on World's Edge. So, we've still got a lot ahead of you for week 4 here in APAC-South. It still could be anyone's games. We've got some heavy hitters performing for us today, Genome. Like I said, it still could be anybody's game.
Yeah, I mean, the smart cookies among you would have noticed that we have switched over the order of the maps into this half of the split as well, Lace. So starting with World's Edge, and then we'll finish with Storm Point for the rest of the season. Obviously, the regional finals. This is a slightly different format. But yeah, that changes things as well, because it means a team like KeepGoing Gaming, who has to contest on Storm Point, instead of like getting to halfway through the series and being like, oh my god, we've gotten here, we're bleeding, we're missing a limb, we're just completely ragged by this point because we've had 3 contests, 3 50-50s in a row. This time they're going to get there with a win on their back, and they might even just be able to go, hey, I don't know, let's go play another POI and and just grab an extra couple of points, because we've already got so many on World's Edge that we know we'll be able to secure a good place if we just squeak in 5-10 points on Storm Point, and therefore lock it in rather than gambling on winning those early contests.
Yeah, that's very true. I guess that's something we don't really talk about. A lot of the players, may have the contest, or they might not do so well on a particular map, which can definitely bring the morale down. And, I guess as gamers ourselves, when that happens, sometimes you just beat yourself up. You can't get yourself out of that headspace to then perform the way that you want to. So it is nice to see these teams, that don't have the contest, to sort of come out and be able to show us exactly what they can do when they get enough loot, get enough action.
I think that's a good point, Lace, because honestly, maybe we don't even talk about how big a part mental is of Apex enough, right? Because there's so many things that you can't control in Apex Legends, right? You don't get to decide where the ring goes. You can't decide how the other 19 teams play. But you can control how you react to those situations, and the teams that do have control of their emotions and can keep going after they have a bumpy start will end up doing well.
Yeah, that's right. And, we can't control, I guess, the loot you got to land on,
Exactly.
etc. And it's why I'm a little bit excited heading into, Season 20, where, the Evo shields will be all the same. But we're going to get into the action. This is game number 2, World's Edge. Let's see how our players go.
Alrighty, let's see indeed as we jump back into the swing of things, and it is DNZ that are going to need to contest one more time. Bolin this time doesn't win the race to the ground, and so he's going to just jump straight on out of there. And well, this is a little bit of a better start actually for DNZ, because they haven't lost all their players yet. The KPG are on the hunt, no doubt about that. Joker goes low, everyone's losing their shields. KPG feeling a little bit better about things, though, as once again they have just destroyed DNZ. They might as well not have joined the game, Genome.
Well, it barely feels like they did. It was honestly a jump master different, that one. KeepGoing Gaming very much got in there way quicker, so they got all the honeypot loot, and even though DNZ sort of took the high ground, not having that loot seemed to be too big of a disadvantage. It's not like they even got a golden shield that time. I think it was just a gold knockdown on the bottom, but that was enough, honestly, to make that difference. So that's 2-0 now for KPG over there at Harvester. Meanwhile, we've had a much slower start this time over at Stacks with Kill Devil versus Akuma. They've actually sort of let each other loot it out a bit. Presumably still will be taking a fight at some point. You can see them both looking at each other, trying to find an opening.
Yeah, it's about to kick off, that's for sure. Kill Devil not too eager for the fight, though. They got 3 sets of whites, but then again, so does Akuma. The team really having a massive advantage in that engagement thus far. Star's going to keep Kill Devil at bay for a moment. There's a smoke there as well. They're going to use that as a little bit of a progression smoke, but straight off the bat, they want to go straight back and Kill Devil. Oh, well, there's no hiding there.
Nice little play from Levy.
1 for 1 so far, as Killerpulse has also been knocked down.
Yeah, Levy didn't want to use the zip line, so he actually just climbed up that last little bit, which is a heads up play to, you know, not get as many of the audio cues there. But you know, we mentioned how long they'd taken, and you can't do that when you've got a team dropping over at more. That, of course, is Bearclaw Gaming. They will come in now to be a part of this. But do they realize Akuma is right here? That said,
they do now.
Akuma is so poor on meds, and, you know, they don't have optimal weaponry either, that at this point, they probably can't afford to take on Bearclaw Gaming, who are running in here when you've got, like, you know, Belkin's running a Rampart Hemlock. Like, are you gonna be challenging that with a no attachment Sentinel?
Nope. And Belkin, he did get the scan there. 5 hostiles detected, so he knows that there's multiple teams around. In the end, it looks like Bearclaw Gaming are gonna choose to move on as well and leave Akuma be in stacks. And KD have kind of got bigger fish to fry as well, as they decide that they need to move away as well. And they've actually split up too, so one has gone down toward Dome and the others continued out the end of this tunnel, which is maybe not really where you'd want to be, considering Bearclaw Gaming is making their way through there. And I don't know that KAKKOII was really expecting that, and will not be able to get away inside of the geyser. So another one drops for KD, and the job is just on Lohan.
I'm not going to lie to that. He might have done his job as well there, because, as you said, Lohan is actually just crafting banners and about to res down at Dome. Meanwhile, some of our other important teams, Legend Gaming, getting into a very early fight here against KPG and not getting the better end of it. Easy Flash has gotten away for now, but wow, that was a quick 3-1 there from KPG, who are going from strength to strength after winning these contests.
Yeah, happy with that. Legends Gaming, definitely a team to watch in this lobby. Maybe not in this game though, as Easy Flash is the last member remaining. Trying to find an opportunity to go recover those banners, but that is certainly being camped by KPG.
Yeah, they know where he went. They've actually spotted him out. They're looking over there. They've got a wingman on their side as well. So I don't think it'd be a smart idea for Easy Flash to go back and get them. And obviously that's a little bit rough because he doesn't have the conduit on his team. They're not planning for those respawns. They're playing for the win, and it doesn't look like they'll get it here in game 2.
Here's the circle. How the zones are going to pull. Landslide, certainly not the place to be. No one likes that POI. And, well, we've pretty much decided that we're going to go toward Countdown. At least the vast majority of teams have, and pretty much all the top teams are in there as well. DreamFire, Boogie Borders, Team Burger. I mean, Heroes up toward Skyhook still. But not too big of a concern at this point. Still plenty of positions that teams can find themselves in. Charge rifle. Oof. That's one good shot, but it ain't what it used to be, you know?
I mean, it's a better shot. You know, if you're Rukoko sitting here, you've only got one in your inventory. It's like, oh, okay, well, there you go, back to cells.
It's true.
Anyway,
I like my point and click adventure game though.
Yeah, look, you know, for some of us who might have grown up on some other games that are more hit scan, it is, you know, sometimes it's a little bit of a hard change having to do the old bullet tracing and tracking.
Yep.
Bullet drop, I should say.
Leading might be the one.
That too.
Takes into account the drop and the lead, but either way, Godhand are working their way through in Landslide at the moment, but they are not aware yet, though they are now that Lalavang and the rest of Lightning Unicorn are on the way, and that has very quickly turned Godhand away. They're going to go scurrying back into the train tunnel.
Oh god, they're going to be careful though. KPG, who you will remember were playing Gatekeepers down in that Bolt tunnel, could potentially come up and be an issue, be a problem for either of those two teams if they decide to be. But Lightning Unicorn, once they dodge the bang ult, are back into sole possession of the land in Landslide.
They're going to have to defend it against a couple of teams, though. You got KPG coming up from the south, and we've already talked about they're on a bit of a tear at the moment, so I'm not sure that'll be a team that I'd want to be going up against at this point in time. Lightning Unicorn's an interesting beast, aren't they? They've always been one of those teams that at the start of the split, you've gone in and thought, yeah, they're going to be a good shout. And then, I don't know if they've quite really lived up to the expectations, in a lot of cases at least. Again, so far they're doing an okay job, but not setting the world alight. Still, we'll move over to Bearclaw Gaming here, who are actually kind of under the pump a little bit. Rudone is going to try to drop a couple of smokes there to get back out to safety, and Rise has had to drop off as a result. Looks like KPG might actually be getting fed a couple of free kills right here. Oh dear, Wingman's out. Already Rudone down, and KPG were just ready, waiting. The dinner bell was rung, and they had arrived ready and hungry. And they are certainly getting the spoils of war.
They're going to reset. They're going to reset fast, though, because Overlooked Entertainment are on the tracks, and they are hurtling towards KPG. They get the armor swaps. Is the Wingman enough to dodge this? Not necessarily when the Arc Stars are hitting here. OE with full perps are just going to pull in.
They've run themselves into a little bit of a crossfire, though, so they really need to be a bit careful about that one. But one of the KPG members already getting knocked on down. Bible has no shields currently online, but Kill Devil is also kind of hanging around here as well, so this is going to get a little bit messy. Bible, I'd say, is surely done. Kill Devil are trying to take those shots, and they do manage to land them in the end. In the meanwhile, Overlooked Entertainment were trying to catch Belkin, but he is hiding inside of the train tunnel as the zone pushes in. So now it becomes Kill Devil up against OE. And the fight never stops, it seems. This has been a very long, prolonged skirmish between multiple teams, and that Digi-threat is going to town.
Very drawn out. KPG kind of taking a leaf out of Kill Devil's book from earlier there, where the two remaining alive members will go in completely different directions in the hope that one of them stays alive. It worked out for Kill Devil earlier. They get the reset, and this time it's worked out for Lan, who has still stayed alive for KPG. That said, those other two teams, Kill Devil and Overlooked, now getting into a fight in the zone. They haven't been able to properly disengage or just finish the scuffle just yet. There we go. Helping KD go down to zone. And one of them is still alive somewhere? Am I missing them? Levy. Oh yeah, Levy's already made it all the way through the tunnel. So he's left his teammates for dead. And honestly, he might be joining them soon because Akuma is right ahead of him at landslide.
Doesn't look like Akuma are aware of his position just yet, and as we take a look down towards staging, Bearclaw Gaming have been able to get the revives. There's a couple of teams having a look, and one of them is Overlooked, who was the team that sent them into this position to begin with, so it's going to get a little bit messy. Again, Rudone is going to be taken on down. Ek and Belkin seem to have just gotten out of dodge okay, but and again, on the other side of this, there's Lan, who is waiting for them as well. So the fight just never stops for these guys, and looks like Lan's just going to try to get out of there. But he might have bitten off more than he could chew as well. The chase is on. Belkin's ready to go. X trying to find a flank, but I don't know, you don't want to run directly at somebody. The W key. I mean, everyone's having to stop to med.
Exactly, in Zone 3, it's like, I don't know, it's like the Phantom Menace. You really have to wait in between fights because everyone has to pop meds, like, all the time. You're seeing Lan knows he actually doesn't have time to get one off, so he just has to go straight in for the kill. There's no other option at that point. So much zone damage coming out. Obviously, both of the teams were going towards staging because it had crafting and a res beacon available, but that means, you know, for the music fans out there, instead of the rap battle, we're getting a rap battle this time. But, okay. And we'll go back into the zone as Bearclaw and Overlooked Entertainment try and put the broken pieces of their teams back together. And it's Serenity taking on SWQ, who I think have actually made... Yeah, okay, they've got the portal to get back to safety here. That's not a problem. And then it's Godhand here, just creeping up behind them on the south side.
Still got 18 squads alive at the moment, 3 of which I think are down to just a solo, so it looks like there's a lot of teams alive at this point in time, but when you consider 3 of them are pretty well done, might paint a bit of a different picture, but either way, Godhand are working their way in. It's not a super busy side of the zone at this point in time, but as soon as they round this corner on the left, there's going to be a team right next to them, and that is White Flash. Got the rotation coming in as well from Serenity, who will land on the tower. It's sometimes a good place to be, sometimes a bad place to be. I think in this circumstance, you'll take it. It's definitely better than being down on the ground at the mercy of Bocek.
I mean, we saw KAKKOII running the golden RE45 there. Not sure how much use that's going to be at range versus someone who's holding the height out against you, and they've got a Bocek on the other side of it. That's it. I was wondering where this zone was pulling, because honestly it had a lot of countdown in it, had a lot of landslide in it, and it will be one that ends yeah, just very much in the middle. So sort of the rocks to the right of this screen is probably where that final circle is going to be. Which means the next zone, this one is going to be the interesting one. There is, you know, we're going to probably 15 squads down to 5 in the next zone.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love to get that kill feed just going absolutely crazy. And AGL might be one of those teams that is going to start the mess. It's really just Jackie here, and that's not an angle that you'll be too happy to see. So AGL, add the picture. Here you go. This is how it stands. Have a look at that, as everyone's pretty much going to have to move out of their cover. There's really not going to be a whole lot to play with. Just a couple of rocks here and there. You're just never going to jam that many teams into a position like this. So actually being up on top of the tower, given that this is going to be on the slow side of the zone, is probably a really good spot to be in for Serenity.
Yeah, you can see them up on the wall. I mean, they're 5% away from Boogie's wall. That's going to be super important in this next rotation. Gonna love to see if they can actually make it in, because they're not too far. Like, they're not in the circle in the tower right now, but they're pretty close to it. All right, we've got Serenity up on the tower. The zone's closing. Let's see how they make their rotation.
Let's go. Let's go together.
We're gonna have to drop bottom right. Ready? Ready? Dropping now.
There should be southeast on the edge.
Okay.
Finish on the back.
I'm walling it.
Yeah. I'm queuing you.
White hand's close to us, yeah.
I'm ulting the wall.
Yeah. White hand's starting in the open. 50 on the blood.
Yeah, I'm
nading it. I'm nading him.
Crack, blood down.
I'm coming to you.
I'm batting.
Bang's 1 HP.
Where are they? Right under me.
On the wall.
Cat dead. I'm moving forward.
Underneath in the lock and ready, just go. Ready.
I'm stunned.
Nice, they died.
Another team.
On your wall. Different team, go left.
Fuck!
Well, it looked like it was going to be okay for a second there for Serenity, but unbeknownst to them, SWQ with the crypto drone could see straight through that cat wall, and that just meant it was free firing for SWQ. So not really much they could do about that, honestly. That is just a crypto drone diff.
Yeah, indeed. Well, Akuma down to just a duo, and perhaps not that even in just a moment, because Killerpulse has been cleaned up, and Crusader as well. Akuma out of the picture, OE picking up those kill points, and they've got more to do. There is quite a hefty number of teams still yet to push through. But it's slowed down just a little bit. You can see some chip fire back and forth across the map, but as you said, we've gone from, 15 teams down to 8, and as these teams have to start to push their way out of countdown, we'll probably lose another 2 or 3, because there's 4 teams on that side of the map as well, and that zone is going to start moving in 20 seconds. Respawn happening as well, excuse me?
Yeah, someone's getting brought back into the fray, and Overlooked, they're trying to hold on to their spot. I don't think they'll be able to do it. They've got Burger on one side of them and White Flash on the other. SWQ even pitching in from afar. That fight win from SWQ, I cannot tell you how important that's going to be, because they get the entire east side of the zone to themselves. White Flash now gone. Overlooked. Sorry, not gone completely. They've got Soyo still up, but it's just him. And I think Team Burger, honestly, should be looking for this. They might want to push that. Maybe they're too worried about the teams ahead of them, because you've got the duo of heroes they have to worry about. Honestly, Burger just don't want anyone on their back. So yeah, I'm really glad they've cleared that out, because now they can play around the hill, around this south side, because there's not a lot of cover, right? You can see there's some scarce rocks and maybe even just a small elevation change that they can play behind.
It's definitely a little bit of a better spot to be in, but they do also have to be aware of SWQ, who's drafting in on them as well. Heroes here doing it tough. It's really just Bastion who's looking pretty healthy. This missile swarm should be a good one, and Boogie Borders will be eliminated off the back of it. So Lahim's been given a little bit of a moment of respite to try to find some time to heal, and eventually that is dealt with as well, as it's Boogie Borders that will push their way through, or rather Team Burger, I should say, that push their way through to clean that one up. And now they have to be aware of DreamFire and SWQ. Oh man, look at how much of the zone they can control at this point in time. This has to surely be SWQ walking away with the victory now.
Oh my god, but in the dying moments, Roy does some fantastic grenade damage to Team Burger, and what should have been an easy cleanup may actually be the death of them as they fight this final 3v3 against SWQ.
Oh, Sharky somehow surviving for a little second longer. It's on to Pricey in the way, and Team Burger picked the win up. And SWQ, oh, they're going to be looking at themselves and wondering how they didn't get that one over the line. Because it was DreamFire and Burger fighting one another. And SWQ had the run of the map, but in the end, it's Burger that will walk away with a very big victory. So, solid stuff. And in the end, I think what you have to say is Team Burger, out of nowhere, they picked themselves up a pretty damn solid victory. And that's going to be exactly what they want because, you know, again, it's not as if it's been a bad tournament so far from Team Burger, but we know how much more they can do. And maybe this is going to be the start of something.
Yeah, I've been keeping a close eye on Team Burger, Elfish, and, you know, they been hitting around top 8 in the first couple of things, but then dropped off, like, I think they were about 15th and then brought it home in the last standings there last week. But this is exactly what they needed, a little bit of extra sauce for the Burger. It was just nice that they were able to clean up that mess right at the end there, because, yeah, after a tough start to the split, this is kind of the energy that they need. But, you know, having a look at this replay, Overlooked Entertainment, they're here to play. They're holding their wits about them, taking on team after team. It's just a little bit unfortunate at the end that they just couldn't hold on that much longer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this was a great game from Overlooked Entertainment. I mean, obviously a few names that we're pretty used to seeing here in the ALGS APAC-South, but I don't know, like, whether or not people would have had them really like high up in their expectations necessarily. They're another one of those sort of teams comprised of players that's kind of been plugging away for a couple of years and haven't really found like huge amounts of success necessarily, but even so far in this this split of ALGS, they've yet to find themselves with a really big win or anything like that in one of these lobbies. But you know, you got to kind of keep the scoreboard ticking over, and 9 kills, even though you end up in 7th place, is not a bad shout. You can just see how much damage they really did in comparison to pretty much every other team, right? Like, you're talking top 3 numbers, actually, from Overlooked Entertainment there, but in the end, not enough for them. But man, a 15-kill win from Team Burger. Holy cow, that is a juicer.
Yeah, that is an excellent start for them. So, you know, this is exactly what they needed to do. And then if you have a look at like 4th place or Boogie Borders, even just sitting in 5th there, they didn't seem to collect sort of any kill points, which can be a little bit detrimental when you have someone like Overlooked Entertainment collecting kills. But, you know, KeepGoing Gaming still nicely sitting on the top there. But here we go. Team Burger creeping their way up the top, just 1 point in front of DreamFire. You know, DreamFire is still in this to win it. They performed quite well on the original match, so you know it is still anybody's game there. But yeah, Overlooked Entertainment also sitting nicely in 4th.
Yeah, I think you'll take it at the moment if you're DreamFire. Obviously, they had a 4th overall for the previous lobby that we got to watch today already. And as you say, sitting in 3rd for this lobby. So if you go 4-3 on any given day, that's actually really quite a solid day overall, so you can't be too disappointed by that one. But as you say, they're in it to win it. Obviously, they're one of those teams that we've seen win it before, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see them, you know, really pick the pace up. And whether or not that's going to happen today or maybe next week, we're still kind of going to have to wait and see. But overall, still early days for this lobby, so we've got a lot to talk about, and we'll keep cracking on.
Anything can change. We're just going to take ourselves a short break, so sit back and relax, and we'll see you for game number 3.
Tell Death I said hello.
I will, Laura.
And game number 2, nothing short of amazing, but we won't live in the past as we get closer to halfway for a groups versus A versus C. Last match on World's Edge, KeepGoing Gaming sitting out in front, and then a cracker of a game from Team Burger, Elfish, placing them in second. It is obviously the final match here on World's Edge. Wonder if they can do it again.
Tell you what, that is a good-looking burger, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But I don't know if it's just going to be this final game of World's Edge that they want to get in the back pocket. I'm sure they're going to be wanting to do a little bit more than that because, look, they did start with a pretty bad game in round 1. So for Team Burger, a bit of catching up to do, like we said. They've done pretty well, obviously, off of the first 2 games in isolation, but the job's not yet done. And as far as the Legend composition is concerned, nothing too crazy of note apart from that one Revenant getting pushed through. But that is as a result of the contest that's going on between DNZ and KPG. Otherwise, things look fairly standard. We had a Caustic in the last lobby, which was kind of fun, but no Caustic today, it seems.
Yeah, we get Caustic swapped to a Revenant with 2 picks in solidifying that, We always see the sort of conduit catalyst plays, I guess, coming through. I actually think it's a little bit less of a composition pick in this lobby here, but I wanted to have a quick conversation about Legends Gaming. Struggling a little bit in the first 2 matches, Elfish. I actually missed out on last week to see, their stellar performance. Have you feel like they've changed anything? What's going wrong for them? Is it the pressure of fame getting to them?
It could definitely be, like not necessarily. Like obviously that's not a thing, but you can't necessarily expect perfection from every team every week. That is something that's unrealistic. Everyone's allowed to have a bad week. Everyone's allowed to have a bad couple of games. It's not even a bad week for them necessarily. It's only been 2 games so far, and it's not impossible for them to come right back into the swing of things. I think they're definitely a good enough team that, we can definitely give them a pass mark for having what was like an 8th and a 17th place finish. So not ideal, but obviously they should be able to bounce back.
Well, let's see what they can do in this game. This is game number 3, the final one on World's Edge. Let's take it away.
Let's take it all the way. How about that? Let's take it all the way to the final game of World's Edge. We're on the downhill slope now for APAC-South for the weekend. I'm sure you guys have enjoyed watching. I think there was North America on this morning. At least if you're in our time zone, it was on this morning. It was probably last night for a large majority of you guys as well. Straight into APAC-South. Wasn't much of a break in between. So it's been a lot of Apex over the last, probably 24 hours or so, give or take. And well, we're getting toward the end of it, at least here for APAC-South. We've got 4 games to go, including this one. And let's see how things kick off. I don't really see that contest just yet. DNZ and KPG over at Harvester.
Yeah, they kicked
having a bit of a look at one another, but
KPG actually won the Jump Master contest again, but they actually missed on picking up the purple armor in the middle. That made it kind of tough for them. Now you can actually see they're trying to chase down Bible, who was, I think they'd run out of ammo. They're trying to punch him down with a PK, but they do end up getting the win. And honestly, it's literally just like, you land on the ground, you gotta look around. What do you pick up first? Do you pick up the weapon? Do you pick up the purple armor? And yeah, this time it came up trumps for DNZ, who have finally put one in the W column for them. Meanwhile, as we go back to stacks, we can see Kill Devil just they're trying to be a little sneaky. Just play it out, be quiet here on the roof as they wait up with Triple Whites versus Akuma, who are trying to come with an armor advantage but a position disadvantage.
It's interesting, isn't it, that you see a little bit of a different approach actually in these contests over towards stacks as what you do toward Harvester. There's not quite the incentive to have that quite as quick play.
They just shuffled a disruptor over to Yukoi with a PK, by the way. So, potentially option for him to pop off at the start of this fight. Oh, opens up with an 85.
Ooh. Well, Killer Pulse is definitely keen to get on in there, and that's 1 down, now 2. So Akuma, well, they've made short work of kill double there. That was just absolute decimation from Akuma.
It's fun, you know, you see a similar dynamic play out when you go over to Lava Siphon as well, with one team playing height and trying to leverage that versus the other team who gets more of the loot, and you try and see which one ends up working out. That time you can see, you know, allowing them just have the initial crack there with the Disruptor PK, a big opening. And, you know, Akuma, they couldn't hear Kill Devil, so they played it out really safe. They were just taking it one level at a time, just zipping up, clearing out their angles, and then continuing up. And so Slow and Steady won the race that time for Akuma. And this time, at least, you can see they've not only won the contest, but they've done it quickly enough that Bearclaw Gaming don't get involved, which also makes sense for BCG because they have the zone now, and they, you know, may want to just stick around Lord because there's a good potential there, as you see with that ring, that it does swing back towards them.
Yeah, Bearclaw Gaming have the info on where that next ring pull is going to be coming in as well, so I think I agree with you that that's going to be a big reason why they didn't really want to leave Big Mord. We also saw Legends Gaming moving in pretty quickly from Lava Siphon. They would have also been a team that got that information early. There is a ring console there, so they were able to get on the move pretty damn quick and get into a fairly central position, and they'll just try to have a little bit of an easier time in this game than what they did in the last game. Actually, for both of those two teams, it seemed like they kind of ran into a bit of trouble early on their rotates last game. So they might appreciate the fact that they're not going to have to do too much moving and shaking this time around.
I mean, just as we get the vision there of which teams have got the ring consoles this game, Elfish, we see the White Flash has it playing from Geyser. They opted to stick around in Geyser, and, you know, interesting decision considering the circle definitely looks like it's more likely to go down towards Big Mord, but I guess there's still a chance it ends up somewhere over in Geyser. World's Edge can be a little bit haphazard, a little bit odd sometimes with those circle pulls. So I guess they're just sort of playing it out as if it's going to all work out well for them. And then if it doesn't, yeah, I don't know. It's just like every other game of Apex, isn't it? You just gotta, just gotta see what works.
Just gotta make do with what you got, right? When you get lemons, you make lemonade, something like that. I don't know. I'm not really very good at making lemonade, but maybe one or two of these teams are. Bearclaw Gaming kind of struggling so far today. 18th place for the lobby with only the 3 points. This will be the game where they really have to maximize their points, though, because they are going to cop that feed.
That was interesting, though. Belkin on the Wraith. So he's actually switched off the Bloodhound. The only team to make a change here in game number 3. And they've gone, yeah, the other two members still the same. They're still with the Bang, Watson running that. But, yeah, switching it out for the Wraith. And you can see them trying to make some portal plays there.
It's an interesting shout. Don't see a whole lot of the Wraith these days. Pops up every now and then. Used to be the go-to. A little bit more variety these days. As Bearclaw Gaming, well, they are looking to get themselves a few points here, and they have managed to find God Hand and eliminate them. So that'll be at least another one on the board for Bearclaw Gaming. Speaking of the Wraith, we see Belkin going to be able to shift out into safety. Legends are never far from the fight, are they? And they're certainly hunting. Bearclaw Gaming have to be a little careful. Looks like they've gotten out okay, though.
Yeah, time to loot up. With that with that team on the floor. They want to grab, you know, getting some digis and stuff while there's not too many teams stuck in and around Big Mord. Now is definitely the time to grab that loot before it gets a little bit too late. It's not like they can just sit there inside their RV with a Loba. So White Flash, they've actually got some teams joining them at the back here. It's going to be Serenity.
Well, bang going off in the background there, and Serenity trying to keep their opponents at bay. There's a third party coming on through. It's Team Burger that's making their way in this direction, so White Flash might have a bit of a rude awakening in just a second. Serenity's on the back side of the building, so they might not have as big of a problem, at least not initially. And it seems as though White Flash maybe recognize that. They've just tried to make a run for it.
Yeah, Sharky catches Soyo off, though, as they try and make that rotation. They almost get Proto the Catalyst as well. And so Serenity, at this point, actually have managed to usurp White Flash from that fantastic spot there at the back of the geyser. I don't think that's where it's pulling, though. It may end up pulling to one of the banana buildings, Elfish, because if we do get some vision of the ring at one point, you'll see it's not a hard pull to the edge. And I don't know, it's cut out most of our big ward as well. So, you know, I think we could be ending up with a geyser finish.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? You don't see that too often. It might not be a bad call from Serenity to take that building. DreamFire. They are in the thick of things at the moment, that's for sure. Our heroes rotating back and forth past them. It was Bastion that was giving them a bit of a hassle. SWQ pretty close by on the northern side of Lava Siphon as well. They're going to be given their moment of respite there. Eye of the Storm here, DreamFire. It's interesting, though, that Bearclaw Gaming and Outside are still really quite set up inside a big Mord. They haven't got the memo that it's not headed in that direction.
No, the ring console in Big Mord very exposed. It's pretty hard without a Gibby bubble, honestly, to grab that info with teams like Legends Gaming looking over you. They're certainly starting to think that it could be a geyser angle. You can see them starting to think and swing that direction. Meanwhile, you've got a couple of teams over here in stacks. Akuma, WMFireBird, as well as Overlooked Entertainment. Still just shuffling around. Waiting for that next ring pull to make their move, because at this point, they are blind.
17 squads alive. It's going to be another one of those games where we just lose half the lobby or more in one zone shift. Especially because there's so much unplayable terrain in this next zone, right? Like, almost 50% of it is just basically taken up by cliffs and rock faces and what have you.
Yep.
So you can sort of set yourself up, maybe 2 teams to a building in Geyser sometimes, depending on like where you're situating yourself. Maybe even 3 in some cases, because there's a lot of bends and curves.
Yeah, if you've got a Watson, you know, you can definitely carve up one of those pieces for yourself.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 can sort of hide on the outskirts or underneath or something like that. So there's a bit of space, but certainly not enough for 17 squads, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think we're going to get one of those classic circles. I feel like we got them a lot in maybe like year 2, honestly, where it goes into the geyser and you just get so many teams sort of sitting around, you know, the space in between the 2 banana buildings, you know, hiding around the yellow rocks, hiding around the geyser itself. And as we see the shift there, oh no, Team Burger. Cool. So you see where, so Jesco's the bottom player in Serenity sitting around the assault bin there. Team Burger had that position. They've given it up to take down the building, you know, at the bottom of Geyser, as you can see there. But if they had have stayed at those bins, probably would have had Godspot. You can see they're actually, with that shift, they're making a very calculated decision to move into the bottom banana building, and I love this.
Well, they're going to run right into Legends, who are also pushing in that direction. I always thought Legends was going to go into Jesco's position because they had a map ping on that spot. I was watching while they were rotating. I thought they were going to turn right, but instead they've kind of sent it directly into the center, which might not end up actually being the right call overall, because as we know, the zone's going to pull a little bit further out toward the east.
Oh my god, and Serenity actually have the next ring info. So they've got a beacon all the way up there at the back of Geyser. They somehow managed to get, be able to use it this late in the game. So they know for sure that it's going somewhere towards that assault bin that Boogie is holding down. So that's probably why they're split holding, and may even be willing to give up that building. Yeah, wow, that's such incredibly valuable information to have this far into the game, while other teams like Boogie Borders are still, you know, all the way out here at Budget Siphon. They've got a long way to head back in.
Serenity does have that Bangalore, so probably just pop a bang smoke down on the ring console, get the scan through. White Flash getting eliminated in the meanwhile there. And you're going to be seeing a lot more of that banner popping up in just a second, because Zone is pushing everybody out of Lava Siphon, everyone down from the northern side near Ghost Town. They're all having to come into the thick of things right here. Bearclaw Gaming is potentially going to be one of those teams that's going to run into a bit of trouble, because they've got Akuma right behind them. and outside right in front of them. So they are the meat in the sandwich here. And they need to get out of dodge pretty damn quickly.
BCG just, I don't know, it seems like they never exist as a trio. I don't know if it's just the timing that we happen to turn onto them when our observers choose to look at them, but damn, I feel like I never see all three of them up at once. And yeah, no wonder they're struggling down at 17th place in this lobby right now. As you say, the zone has pulled very, very much on that assault bin. So yeah, look, Serenity absolutely in God's spot if they can hold on to that.
Even if not, you know, they can just sort of default back to that back building and play from the edge of zone. There's no one that can really come in from behind them, so it's a very safe position to be in. It was always one of those quote-unquote god spots of Geyser if the zone pulled out in that direction, and it's not quite gone that far, but they're still in a pretty good spot there. Bearclaw Gaming, same can't really be said for them because they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and this is maybe where the Wraith Portal comes in handy, but how far is it going to get you? Not far enough, unfortunately. And so Overlooked will be able to take that fight, and then you've got a couple more teams to worry about. Akuma's in there as well. DNZ, currently they're fighting against Outside over this Caravan. They'll win that fight, but they're going to get third-partied by Boogie Porters. And honestly, if they're not careful, WMFireBird are thinking about coming down into this one as well. So it is an absolute mess just outside of Big Board.
Yeah, Boogie Boarders, they've come in from pretty much the edge of the zone, so I'm sure they think they're okay there, but all of a sudden, Overlooked Entertainment actually wrap all the way around. They take some rough shots from the backside there, and all of a sudden, Boogie Boarders not, I don't think with the potential to do anything more in this game. Someone surely is going to push and finish off Raki, the last remaining member.
Oh, Akuma going to try to get out on the balloon, but it was always going to be a risky one. Someone had to go down. It's Crusader that's going to be sacrificed so that Killerpos and Yukoi can continue to make their way forward, and they're going to land right on top of Boogie, and that might just be the call for Serenity to give up this position and reset back as 3, though. They've moved away. And so Boogie gets to hang on to that bin for now, and the shenanigans are going to continue around the banana building. It's a mess, but nobody is contesting Serenity for Godspot.
Yeah, they just showed enough presence. Boogie by himself apparently was enough to scare them away. Meanwhile, all the other teams really sitting in on and around this banana building on the bottom. AGL, they took the northern building, so they're okay there for the moment, but this is just chaos. Wow, this... You can see people just getting their feet shot off. Kraber coming out here from Sharky. Let's go.
Akuma's kind of doing pretty well for themselves, all things considered. They actually got a couple of kills out of that one, and give them some credit. But yeah, Sharky up on top. Ooh, tries for the no-scope, doesn't quite manage to connect it, but the Volt's definitely going to do some damage. The trouble is, he really doesn't have a lot of energy ammo left here at all, so he's gonna be hopefully relying on the Kraber a little bit more so, but maybe that's not even going to be a factor at this point, because it does look like it's going to go pretty poorly for them. It's just Pricey standing up, and he's going to be finished off as well. So Team Burger are done, and Legends Gaming are the ones inside of the building that are kind of having all the fun.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to play big and scare other teams away, but like, wow, man, in this region, I don't know, it's kind of tough. Teams are willing to take you on, and in that case, it all goes south for Burger in the blink of an eye there. But 5 seconds left, these teams need to try and get into the next circle before too long, but you know, you got to deal with WMFireBird. The duo of Akuma, they'll keep going. We're having a look at Serenity here. Of course, these guys are still kind of split. And wow, they actually get... No way! Heroes had a really good position just below the cliff there. Serenity clear them out, and at the moment, they have full, unbridled access to the zone.
They might just win it right here, right now, before anyone even gets into the next zone, because Legends Gaming, they're down to 1 player left. They're going to be fighting. SWQ are also down on 1, and Akuma are the last team alive alongside these last remaining solos.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an easy cleanup here. You can see the last 2 Akuma members are going to come in. They have to go. They've got no more time to try and get out from the zone. They will get stunned by the Bang ult. They take them with the Energy Barricade, the Dark Veil, all ultimates. That is one of the quickest victories that we have seen. Incredible effort there from Serenity to close out that game.
Yeah, super solid stuff from Serenity, but wow, what a what a position they had. They were able to hold it down the entire game, and easy as you like, they get that dub on the board.
Big ups there to Serenity. Love how they played that one out. You know, they just had that position on lockdown for the longest time, Lace.
Yeah, they just did an excellent job there, and you can see why they took out the victory. You know, they're finally rising from the ashes and churning themselves into a phoenix. And if you're just joining us, this is the APAC-South Pro League. We're live on the Play Apex channel, Genome. And if you're at home and wondering if I am the voice actor of Mad Maggie, well, you can't spell problematic without M-E. And as our teams have been making some faces unrecognizable in Game 3, we still have some more action for you as we gear up for Game number 4. A couple of these contests didn't really go in the way we expected, Gino.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think the Stacks one was a little more cut and dried. That said, you know, you have to sometimes just be a little bit quick with contests. That was the kind of the only problem for Akuma down there. But then when we went over to Harvester, it was a little bit back and forth with, I think KPG came out ahead 2-1, I believe it was, against Kill Devil. But either way, it definitely wasn't as clean cut. So, you know, look, Akuma, they turned that around. They came out with a 12-kill second place there. Serenity, of course, coming over the top. It was, I mean, it was interesting that no one shelled them particularly hard for that God spot, right? It was one of the freest wins we've seen in a long time. As Elfish was saying, like, but by the time that final circle was closing, it was already over. There wasn't another trio left alive.
Yeah, and as you can see, Serenity here just like playing patiently, sitting pretty. Not a lot of kills on the board, but, you know, sometimes it's just getting that placement and taking out the victory that solidifies it. You know, but this is exactly what they needed to do this time round in our last match on World's Edge. Very excited to see the scoreboard and see exactly where everybody's sitting. But here we go, Serenity with the 5 kills. So still amazing job there to take out first. But look at Akuma just with the 12 kills, falling into second position. That is such an epic performance from them.
It is, especially when you consider they've made the roster change mid-split. Killerpos coming in, having to learn a new IGL and the way they play, the way they want to command the squad mid-split is incredible. So it's been not only that, but you're running contests on World's Edge and you're still coming out with mad kill points and some placement points to back it up. Akuma in first place while contested. That's not a sentence we get to say a lot.
Yeah, and, you know, those 12 kills that they got just really just solidified that first place and pushed them up in front of Team Burger. We obviously saw a great game from Team Burger in the round before, you know, so they're still sitting in that second position. They weren't as high in this game here, but, you know, KeepGoing Gaming still sitting there strong. I didn't feel like we saw too much of DreamFire there, but, you know what, they've still got a nice position in fourth. And SWQ, right? They weren't really doing too much at the start, but it seems like they've pulled their socks up a little bit to head on into the top couple of squads.
Yeah, they're looking fresh, and I think the important thing to note there is that we've got a couple of teams who really need those points. Team Burger, DreamFire, who are looking like they're on track to pick up some good split points here. Meanwhile, you've got Legends Gaming and Boogie Borders lagging a little bit. Doesn't matter so much for them. They're, you know, they're looking great for LAN. They only probably need average placements from here on out to book their spot overseas. So the fact that those two are doing so well, DreamFire and the other team I just mentioned and subsequently forgotten, is exactly what their fans wanted to see this week. And it'll make the end of this split a little more spicy as well, Lace.
Yeah, exactly. And we love good spice. But we're going to take ourselves a short break. We will see you for game number 4 shortly while we head over to Storm Point. Welcome back, everyone. Our teams are showing more passion, more energy, and more footwork than ever before, with Serenity taking out the win for game number 3. We've touched on this before. Some of our competitors need a victory to solidify themselves a spot in the regional finals. A lot is on the line for our teams, Gino.
I mean, yeah, look, Serenity, they had the most second-place finishes coming into today, Lace, but they go a step further there in Game 3 and managed to take out the dub. It was a very impressive performance. A lot of it off the back of a very risky, I think it was a Zone 3 or Zone 4 beacon scan, a ring console scan these days, I should say. And it just gave them the information of exactly where that zone was shifting. They could tell it was going towards the bins, and from there, they just showed a lot of presence. They didn't let anyone else have the house and threaten that area. They didn't let anyone else have the tri-bin area, and anyone who flew in was taking damage, and we were saying it was a little bit unlike APAC-South to have no one challenging them for Godspot, and that's how it ended up being such a simple win for Serenity in the end.
Yeah, sometimes there's, no reward without risk. So to see, them be able to do that is just exceptional. We obviously saw that we are about to head into Storm Point, and we know that a lot of things change for our teams. We've touched on that before, where our whole composition could be changing. But one of our favorite things to look at, and get your Pokeballs ready because it's the Ratatas. These are our rat stats, Gino.
Yeah, Shark from WMFireBird is leading the way. Interesting to see Easy Flash so much up there as well. Legends Gaming obviously have struggled a little bit today. I think maybe a lot of that was the game where Legends went down early towards Harvester, and I guess Easy Flash got out by himself. Obviously, Levy, from Kill Devil, he's been the one running away when Kill Devil been losing the contest, so I guess that's why his rat time is so high. He's the one who's been tasked with bringing the team back on the respawn ship after they lose that first 3v3.
Yeah, it's no shock to see Easy Flash on the board, but usually we see Easy Flash there for high damage and not ratting skills, and we said Legends Gaming, they're not doing exactly what they did last week, but like Elfish said, it doesn't have to go their way all the time. But we're going to head on into game number 4. This is our first game on Storm Point. Let's take you away to the action.
Yeah, let's jump on in. Again, it is Legends Gaming, as you've highlighted there, who, are not exactly having a standard day for themselves, but maybe Storm Point is going to bring with it. The winds have changed, and it certainly has done, at least for the vast majority of the compositions that we're going to get. Once again, a big shift up, probably about 66%. 2/3 of the lobby seem like they're going to be changing up from what they were bringing on Storm Point, or rather from World's Edge onto Storm Point.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff, right? Of course, standard also at this point throughout the season is the DNZ KPG 50-50 over here at Lightning Rods. We've seen this go both ways. I feel like at the start of the season, DNZ doing a little better, and then KPG, honestly, started to move up. Oh, they've even found a blue shield in the middle of the battle. That's massive, honestly.
Yeah, KBG have been having a pretty good day today, haven't they? Exception being that last round, where they did lose the contest against DNZ, but so stubborn, these two teams. They just continue to butt heads, doesn't matter the map. And so far, it's 2-1 for KPG today. DNZ with the high ground. Probably pretty okay with how this is playing out right now. That Arcstar not going to get a stick. Some damage going through though, and it's some pretty good damage, though it's onto the blue shield, so I suppose you can afford to take a little bit more if you've got the blue shields to play with. And it looks like DNZ gonna let KPG go.
I mean, you gotta be pretty
KPG
careful
wants
here.
to go.
You can see Papa had barely a clip left in his R301 there. Had to be careful with the shots. You can't necessarily just throw them out willy-nilly. And KPG decide, well, it's time to resupply, so they'll go grab the loot at Thunderwatch and then turn around, because they know at some point DNZ are probably going to have to make their way back over here.
Overlooked. Up to their usual tricks as well. And it is going to be God Hand on the receiving end of this push, though they've got some gold and purple armor there. They're not in a bad spot to actually take a fight, though I suppose if they're going to lose that initial player, then things are going to be less than ideal. Prowler going to be causing some problems. But it seems as though Overlooked have done enough to actually push Godhand away. They'll get the spoils of at least that one death box.
Godhand were very split in that fight. All three of the members, you know, maybe that goes well when you get a good angle, but holding hands is also pretty powerful in Apex sometimes. If you can just three-man swing another team, you don't really have time to respond often before you go down. So Overlooked, interestingly, they don't, you know, they're not aping the other two players. They're happy to just push back off that initial victory.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 2. Ammo up.
Kill Devil. I'll be hoping that their fortunes are going to change up on Storm Point once again. They had a far better Storm Point than they did World's Edge in the first lobby of the day. They'll need something akin to that to really post any kind of respectable total here. Maybe can find themselves just inside of the top 10 if they do really well on these remaining 3 rounds. Bit of an enigma of a team, really, Kill Devil. They do seem to do well when given the opportunity, but sometimes it feels like they don't give themselves the best opportunity.
And it is sometimes hard to get that sense of a team, to be able to really nail down their aura if they are just contesting all the time, because it is such a different style of play. It does, you know, force out how you play very differently. Team Burger, they've taken a hit while taking down WMFireBird here, which is honestly pretty sad for them because they have a fantastic position. And they were starting to set up with Pricey on the Watson, which I don't think they were playing last week. Would be interested to get that comparison. But yeah, the issue is, does Shark, they're going to loot the box and see if they can find a Moby Res. No, not there. So they might just have to maybe even pop an evac out and try and, I mean, they could probably res him at the back of wall. There's definitely some options there, I think, for Team Burger.
Yeah, maybe if they can get out there, but they would have to go past Akuma if they go in through the wall and drop down. Certainly a pretty hot spot, given that they're almost in the center of the zone, or the next couple of zones. Lightning Unicorn haven't really been part of the conversation that much at all tonight, and I don't know if you felt the same way, but I very, very rarely feel like I've even seen Lightning Unicorn kind of on my screens unless they're getting shot at, so hasn't really been their night once again. Yeah, they've been one of those teams that's always been a little bit up and down.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Certainly at the start of the season, they were outperforming our expectations, and then it has been a little slow slide downhill from there, just like, you know, just like if you were in mid-map and you were kind of just, you know, just chilling down the hill, trying to make it north to south. They're trying to go the opposite. They're trying to go south to north on the leaderboard at the moment, but might be a
probably
tough
safe
ask.
for Bearclaw Gaming, to be honest. Been a bit of a rougher day for them, and you know, a few names in that roster that you'd probably be expecting to be not too far off the top of things, but this hasn't really come together for this roster. Braber out in this one for Heck. Maybe that'll help out. Still got a little bit of a ways to go in terms of locking down a solid position in this next ring.
I kind of feel like you could say that for a lot of Belkin's teams, honestly. You know, he's like this wild card, and he's certainly got a lot of power behind him, but just needs to find that team that works well, that you know, can play disciplined enough to get that to make it to that next level, to start making it to LAN. And something that has eluded him for a while. I think he maybe made it to Sweden. Let me double check.
Ooh, that's you're asking a lot of me to remember that far back. That's a long time ago. Maybe.
Yeah, when he was on Revenant Gaming back then, and did make it. It was a 33rd finish though.
Times.
The peak was arguably on when he was on Wolfpack Shadow, actually, picking up some 4th and 5ths back in the day.
Oh, God Hand. They're going to try to get some revenge for their teammate, which was slain. And they have been able to do so. Overlooked Entertainment will be knocked out. And the beacon on offer perhaps for God Hand, as they're still pretty far out of the zone. So they might be able to get themselves a res here in checkpoint somewhere. There is a respawn beacon there. But they'll have to get a bit of wriggle on if they want to do it. DNZ flying through the air at the moment. Be close to landing in the wall. There's no one actually in the wall right now. NoCredit have kind of moved on. Go of Akuma. And so DNZ will take up residence. And that was easier than expected, I imagine.
Yeah, they're going to be like, oh, sick. You know, this is going to be such a great position. And then in about, what is it? 2 minutes when this zone closes, they're going to find out the next one is very much down near Cascade Falls and probably going to be a little disappointed in that.
Yep. But better to at least have a staging ground to build off of than nothing. So I think they'll take it at this point in time. They didn't really have their pick of the litter, unfortunately. And another one of those sort of slower starts, which is going to mean that things are going to start to pop off as we head into the later stages. KeepGoing Gaming. 33 points, 3rd place for the lobby so far today. Is this their best performance so far? I mean, they've been up there in a couple of the lobbies.
Definitely contender for Dark Horse in APAC-South.
Yeah, I would actually agree. I think that they've sort of surprised me a little bit in what they've been able to do, and I'd like to see them actually keep this pace up. You know, if they can manage to even somehow push through for a first in this lobby, that would really be a statement.
They kind of remind me.
It's on offer.
They kind of remind me of like rank grinders, where like, you know, they just hot drop every single game, and that kind of. Oh my God! Did Killboss just hit a 223?
Killboss or Crusader? By the way, Crusader was the one that got the knock, but then he himself has now been knocked back on down. But yes, it was a lot of damage coming out, and KAKKOII is going to try to follow it up. Not really to the same success. Has got the car and a decent scout to work with, and dancing around the wall. Not a favorable exchange. Hoping desperately that this shield is going to be quite enough, and it's not really, you'd say. But there's another team lurking, and AGL has been eliminated in the meanwhile. It's God Hand that have come in for the 3rd party right here, and Killapos as well and truly out of there. He's not interested.
Yeah, I think it was definitely him, because he's the only one on his team who had more than 223 damage.
I'll do it.
So, definitely, you know, the old switch over to controller. That's the one time where, you know, you got to look at that and be like, okay, I don't know, maybe it was the right choice. You'd rarely see an SMG spray for that much off the M&K.
It's true. I mean, look, possible, doable. I'm a bit of a crack gamer myself.
All right, show me the clips then, Elfish. I want proof.
Listen, a magician doesn't show the solution to his tricks. Is that how's that phrase go?
A magician never reveals his secrets?
That's right. A magician never reveals his secrets, all right? You don't need to see, all right? You just need to believe.
Okay.
Don't question the method, question the result. I guess you are questioning the result. Anyway, besides the point, we'll take a look at the ring here, and look at that pool. That is just obscene, actually. It's gone even further south, so where are we even going to end up with this one is probably where most of these players are thinking now. I mean, DreamFire's kind of like the gatekeepers almost for the zone, and then you've got White Flash down pretty much on the far southern side of the zone that are going to get a feed that they're not even probably anticipating.
Yeah, that said, you've got a couple of teams over here in Command Center that may be running into each other, and then you've got all these teams over at Cascade Fall fighting for position. This time it's Kill Devil on the wrong side of Boogie Borders, who take position up on the top of the waterfall. Now, this is a great spot. Panna needs to be checking behind, and he is. This is where KPG are coming from. He's going to need to calm this to his team very quickly. Is he going to get caught off guard? Okay, he gets that. He gets that info, and there you go, running straight back down. Says, guys, come up, come up, come up. Please get up the zip. There is our team coming for us.
Oh, he's getting down the zip. He's not interested anymore. Fussy, hopefully he's turned around. Though, actually, they've just swapped positions. I guess Fussy's playing on the Bangalore, so a little bit of a safer character. You can just get back out. If you really get in a spot of bother, you can drop your smokes, but you also get that passive movement speed when someone fires a shot at you, so But Fussy, he's able to sort of dodge out of there a little bit easier than Pana potentially would have been. We'll get that...
It's also a tough position, right? Because they have to choose whether they want to play the high ground or if they want to play the zone and let KPG come to them. So there's different kind of pressures available to Boogie Boarders. They choose zone. Is that the right spot? I don't know.
Well, Pana, unfortunately, has just been smacked in the face by Heck. And remember, Heck was holding on to the Kraber pretty much this entire time, so he's going to be in a bit of trouble. KPG also doing it tough, and Bearclaw Gaming now will turn over to their position as they come in for the third party. It's, I believe, just Fussy left alive here for Boogie Boarders. And he's kind of looking for some revenge, but in fact, he's going to have to duck his head down and try to pop a bat and let the other two teams fight. Bearclaw Gaming.
Just rolling in with the Kraber. And
rolling in with that Kraber indeed.
I mean, I think that's why, in my opinion, that was probably not the correct decision from Boogie Boarders, because if they had have taken the fight a little earlier to KPG there, much less chance of a third party.
Fussy's still alive, by the way, in all of this. He's kind of just found a nice spot to hide himself in. There's another good Kraber shot through from Easy Flash this time. Legends Gaming have joined the party, so it's a bit of a mess as to how many teams have kind of ended up in this position, but they all have to be kind of aware that if they do make one wrong step, Fussy's going to be there. I think Fussy's now been spotted out. You can see some shots headed in his direction, so
oh no,
really trying to keep his head down, but there's only so much you can do once you've been spotted out as a solo. Quick little armor switch for him. We'll get him out to safety, but Legends are going to be the big winners out of this one. They came in as the, I guess technically the fourth party, right? And that was enough to essentially secure all these death boxes and a couple of KP.
Yeah, I mean, the second Kraber coming into the equation from Legends Gaming was kind of tough for everyone else involved, but here's another tough situation. NoCredit involved this time.
Yeah, that'll slow down for a moment. KPG's actually just been eliminated by Fussy.
You can see Pricey pretty much doing the same as Fussy is, just trying to rat it out as a solo up the top there. Both of them are going to have to try and just creep their way into this next zone. I think Godhand realizes there, though.
Yeah.
So, tough ask for Fussy, and tough ask for Pricey as well. Hero also looking for those kills.
Well, Legends Gaming might be getting a bit of a taste of their own medicine right here, as they've got some pain to deal with. Boogie Boarders do get finished off there. That's Fussy taken down. Nexus and Lahim putting in some real good damage for NoCredit in this round. 13 points. They'll be wanting to improve upon that, and so far so good in this game. But oh, I've just spoken too soon. Oh, they've just been absolutely booked in the blink of an eye. A couple of players go down, and Akuma is out. Serenity just behind them, stabbing them in the back, but they themselves get stabbed in the back as well. NoCredit do get eliminated, but they've done a number to Serenity on the way out. It's just Legacy who's trying his best, his absolute best. Heroes out of the picture now as well. This is it's really picking the pace up a little bit as we head into one of the last stages of these zones.
Oh yeah, team after team just throwing their lives away on the eastern seaboard here. I mean, basically every single team who went into that fight has come out worse off. Like there's just so many teams around that the third parties are almost inevitable. By the way,
here to play as well. You can see no shots headed in his direction either.
Yeah, the two Bloodhounds alive are on the opposite sides of the circle to him, so they can't push him, get the info that he's a solo, and then just take him out and steal that space for themselves. And, you know, he's actually he's not playing this like a rat. He's actually, you know, shooting his gun quite a bit, putting out the 3x on the scout, making it work for him, and pretending, you know, that there's actually someone over here. So, yeah, I mean, I'd really love to see this be like a top 3 from him. It'd be hilarious.
Well, White Flash up against Legends Gaming right now. In fact, actually, Pricey's helped out Legends there. It's, I think, a 1v1 between those two teams, but it's White Flash that'll lose out on that engagement. Not that Legends are going to be in a particularly better position, down to just Strafing Flame, who is a sliver of HP. Pricey gets himself at least one more placement. He's up into the top 4 now, and he's still keeping his head down. Nobody is looking at him. He is hiding away so nicely, and everyone else going to town on one another. Strafing Flame will try to join Pricey, but
it's got top 3.
yeah, he's not able to do so. He's going to get a headshot booked by Roy, and Pricey into the top 3. As you say, I wonder if these two teams go up against each other, DreamFire and God Hand, could there be another tale to be told?
I mean, there's just no way. I mean, okay, so the scans already come out from God Hand. They know exactly where he is. Of course, they don't want to commit super hard, because if they take too much damage from him, you know, Pricey...
He's got 2 armor swaps.
Yeah, and he's definitely the kind of player who can put one of you down before you even get a chance, right? And if they lose a player to him, DreamFire will push in and clean it up. You know, no worries. So, yeah, look, Pricey, the X factor in this game.
Pricey is sitting on a red armor right now, and he'll be able to swap over to that if he needs to, which he will just now after taking a little bit of damage. DreamFire, I don't think DreamFire are in as precarious of a position as Pricey is. That's the only issue. He's going to try to give himself a little bit more cover to play with. There's actually the cover of smoke that has allowed him to cross into the center of the zone. No, wait, no one saw him do that. Nobody saw him do that.
Well, the thing is, KAKKOII, he's actually opened this up with a Kramer headshot, and he's now going to pop Beast of the Hunt. They know exactly where Pricey is. They can see the footsteps, but that may not matter in all of this chaos.
Pricey's on for it. I mean, he's probably not going to get the dub now. He's hidden in a thermite, but he's taken a second. God Hand will walk away with the win, and DreamFire just disappeared in the blink of an eye, and what a rat job by Pricey. King of the rats. I think that's what they call him. Either way, you'll take that. You'll take that as a massive dub indeed. But overall, we have to give a shout out to God Hand, who did pick themselves up the victory. It was a 12-kill win as well, so super solid stuff.
Yeah, we haven't really seen too much of them, Elfish, but just to see them, you know, pull out 10 kills there in that last bit. But, you know, I got to hand it to Pricey holding off for dear life for Team Burger. You know, placement in this can be crucial, and it is crucial for them as well because they're sitting in at about 2nd place. So, you know, placing in the top 3 there is still excellent. So good job from Pricey. You know, DreamFire still holding strong as well, Elfish, after play. I think this is their 10th match of the day. To still have them in the top 3 is exceptional.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, you're working hard definitely when you're having to play the back-to-back lobbies, as obviously we as casters know as well. It does get pretty tiring, and it's not just us, but the players as well. And to be honest, for the players, it's probably more so because you're actually having to go through that mental strain of focusing and what have you. But yeah, look, DreamFire have had a pretty good day. 4th place overall for that first lobby, and they'll be definitely up there for this 2nd lobby tonight. But you know, you continue to have to sing the praises of Pricey, because that was definitely something fun to watch. Enjoyed watching him, and it was kind of tying back into that conversation that we were actually having earlier on during that first lobby about the rats. And you know, is it a skill? I think it definitely is. The fact that he's able to even sense the opportunity to kind of get across the road as he was able to inside of that smoke, and that's kind of what secured him the 2nd. If he doesn't cross the road, I think he's done. They all know where he is, but as soon as he crosses the road, you can see he's tucked inside of this rock. And he's kind of forgotten about because there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, and, you know, teams are looking for placement. So generally, if there's just a solo player there, a little rat sticking around, you do want to take them out. You know, it's easy pickings when, you know, it's a 3 versus 1. So, you want to secure the placement. But God Hand just coming out in first with 12 kills. You know, like I said, we haven't seen too much of them, but to skyrocket to the top is amazing stuff. And again, props to Team Burger. Pricey taking out 2nd, you know, and they still collect 5 kills along the way. They're sitting in 2nd, so it's going to be exciting to see if they take over Akuma, who was in first. You know, there were a fair few points ahead, but Akuma there, you can see about 9th and not too many kills.
Yeah. Overall, though, you know, still not a bad shout. I mean, Bearclaw Gaming, they did a little bit of a better time, a little bit of a better job in this one than what we've seen from them in some of the previous ones, but certainly not going to be enough to get them back into any real semblance of the conversation. Burger just holding on, keeping that 1st place. 49 points, not too far away though. Akuma hot on the heels, and look, DreamFire have been consistent so far today. KPG maybe falling off the pace a little bit. I mean, that's kind of the nature of the beast though, when you're consistently hot dropping. back and forth, it can cause some problems. So I think still a fair bit of moving and shaking that can be done on the top end of the scoreboard heading into these last couple of games.
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of a tough decision there for Boogie Boarders being the meet in between. I think it was DNZ and KeepGoing Gaming, which sort of pushed them down a little bit because they didn't get to, carry on from there. It's a tough place. But yeah, it's excellent to see that Team Burger is taking out the front. I touched on it before where I had a conversation with Pricey. They haven't been so thrilled about their performance so far, and they really needed to do something this week. Otherwise, it might have been it for them, the make or break. So, for them to be in the top position now, I bet you they're feeling great.
Yeah, it's always one of those things, right? You go through these sort of ups and downs as a team. Look, I would have been surprised, I guess, if they would have sort of called it a day after week 4, because these are some pretty solid players. They know that obviously things aren't always going to go their way, and look, they weren't in like the worst of positions. They're in 15th coming into this week, which, to be fair, it's not amazing, definitely, but you've still got a couple of lobbies yet to play. You can still do a lot with that, and I would be very surprised if they don't, at least make it into that final lobby of 20. And obviously, once you get into that final lobby, like, really anything can happen, right? Anyone can pull off a win on that day. We haven't got like that one mega dominant team like we have had in the past, which would have been Reignite previously, and then obviously Moist after them. Doesn't really feel like anyone's held on to that, especially with Legends slowing down a little bit today. So anybody's day when we get to the finals.
Yeah, exactly. We had like the bonus points as well, where if you're out in front by a certain amount, you get these bonus points. But again, we haven't really seen that too much. Everyone's been quite close together. But that was just our game number 4. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back for game number 5.
5 Valkyrie actual. Ready for burn.
Welcome back, everyone. This is APAC-South, the region where we look to send 8 through teams, and we've doubled our prize pool from previous years. We've got some immense talent coming out of this region, and today we have proven that we have more to give. Godhound just took out the win in game number 4, but we still have Team Burger sitting pretty in first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of an up and down lobby, hasn't it? It hasn't really felt like anybody has been able to dominate it so far. We've had Burger, you know, get themselves a win. KPG's got a win, and Serenity's got a win. And as you say, we've sort of basically across the board not had anyone that's really gone too hard at it necessarily. DreamFire had a second and a third. SWQ had a second and a third. Akuma's had a second and a third. But, you know, it's kind of been a little bit back and forth in a couple of cases. And some of those teams from down lower on the scoreboard are also kind of finding their way into some of these high placements. So it's not as if we've got one team that's kind of like sponging up all of the points and running away with things. It actually really feels like it is still anybody's guess as to who actually walks away with the win in this lobby. And, well, for Team Burger, that would be a nice little return to form. Because, again, we were talking about this even all the way at the start of the day in the pre-show that, yeah, they've been okay, they've been decent, but they haven't been world beaters like what you might expect, actually, from some of these players. So I think maybe tonight's the night for Team Burger to kind of get back on the saddle.
Yeah, they've got the LAN experience, and, you know, if they had themselves, you know, we've got, was it Sharky from Dark Zero? You know, they've been in and amongst the spotlight, so they definitely have what it takes. We have Pricey, the brand new IGL on the team, doing something that he generally doesn't, you know, feel comfortable doing. So, you know, seeing them come together is amazing. But we're going to get straight back into it, guys. This is going to be round number 5. We're going to take you to Storm Point. It's anybody's game. Let's have a look.
Let's have a look. Indeed, 2 more games to go, and a lot of points still needing to be given out. And, well, yeah, not a lot of time for the teams that are still toward the bottom end of things. And KPG, oh, this is not how they'd want this. An ultimate game to start off. DNT in a much better position now, though. Papa has lost all his shields. Joker down below half HP, no shields either. Still a very losable one, though. A charge rifle's not really what you want, but he's using it to perfection. Holy cow. KeepGoing Gaming have just been sent all the way to map number 6.
Sometimes it's a pretty good shotgun, isn't it? You know, just like the triple take, I'd say. DNZ coming out on top there. KPG, I think it was KH, tried to get behind a door, didn't quite get it closed in time, and just took too much damage on the end of that, so... Oh man, I don't know, KPGs, like, do they just want the attention? Is that why there's all these contests, Elfish? Because they just want to be on your screen as much as possible, and they know that having contests is one way to do that.
Maybe. I mean, the thing is, though, like, they're actually in a position to do some real damage in this lobby. They were 3rd going into the last game, 4th going into this game, but a couple of times now they haven't really been able to capitalize on it, and starting to slip further and further down.
Wow.
Not ideal. That's a big pull as well.
Talking about going down and down, yeah, there's a pull down there. I mean, World's Edge, I feel like we're getting a good spread. But when we move across to Storm Point, I'm not going to lie, man. Echo HQ, Devastated Coast, even Coastal Camp, I would say are getting more than their fair share of pulls right now. It's actually been quite concentrated and interesting. So... teams who land nearby to there. You know, White Flash going down in Coastal Camp. So Boogie Boarders don't get both of those POIs to themselves, should be noted here in this group matchup. They just get Echo HQ. And then, of course, Lightning Unicorn landing over Devastated Coast. That's just premium gas for these guys. It's going to help so much in terms of when you think about how premium the spots are. In those south zones. Like, if you hold from Echo HQ, if you hold from the high ground buildings, which actually SWQ are trying to take of Lightning Unicorn right now. This could, depending on where this circle ends up, Elfish, this could be an extremely important fight.
Yeah, SWQ have... Maybe both teams can coexist. It looks like the kind of setup where both teams could coexist. On the other hand, though, White Flash out in no man's land. I'm not sure what Kisan's is doing all the way out there. But he's certainly been punished for that one, and Heroes are down a member now, and so White Flash are able to try to salvage things, but then again, they've also lost a couple of members of their own, so it's already starting to get a bit messy down here at the Devastated Coast.
Yeah, meanwhile, Boogie Borders and DreamFire are sort of playing out as if it might be an Echo HQ ending, taking up the positions that they did last time we saw that circle, but who knows? Considering the rest of the lobby is going over towards Devastated Coast, I'm not sure that's going to be the case. Now, we're looking at Lightning Unicorn here. I mean, sure, you say like they can both coexist, right? But it doesn't really matter. Like the position that SWQ have taken down the bottom. So the fact that they got to push LU out of that spot is like so huge.
Yeah, I mean, not to mention the fact already that Lightning and Unicorn are actually suffering as a result of that. They've got a revive going on at the moment. Let's keep an eye on how Lightning and Unicorn go throughout this game. They'd be a bit disappointed by the proceedings thus far. Pricey, Sharky, and Way are also making their way in for Team Burger. Currently situated at the top of the leaderboard for this lobby, just ahead of Akuma. Be a big game for both of these two teams in deciding which team is actually going to be able to walk away with the win in the lobby overall. And you have to say for Akuma, it's obviously not looking good given that it's just down to Killerpos now.
Yeah, it's a little bit tough for them, eh? Wow, interestingly, Lightning Unicorn actually changed their comp coming into this map as well. They played Crypto Valkyrie Watson in Game 4, and they've switched over to Bang Bloodhound Watson. So changing two of the legends there. And wow, that's a little bit of a shame considering, you know, Crypto chucking those EMPs out from up on high. If they had been able to hold on to that position, would have been fantastic. But yeah, they're going to be kicking themselves that they couldn't keep SWQ away.
Well, you reap what you sow. Can't really afford to be crying over spilt milk at this point. They've just got to get on with it. SWQ, of course, very happy with things at the moment, and so the biggest concern that they're going to have to worry about is ensuring that they don't run out of resources. Looking okay at the moment, but we've all found ourselves sometimes in the dead center of the zone on a feed, and sooner or later you run out of ammo or you run out of meds. It can be a little bit of a concern later on in the game. If you're not actually looting on your way through and obviously picking up death boxes and the like. Here's a bit of a fight going on right now. NoCredit looking to get some good damage out. There's already some cracks happening. Very cheeky indeed is trying to get into it. Back around. This has gone all wrong. The Thermites though are doing so much damage. A-Flow still alive just by the skin of his teeth. Everybody without shields. And outside, going to back off to try to find some time. Pop some bats to pop some shield cells. Med kits as well. Beast of the Hunt running out now.
That's fine though, because Metrius has already booked it. He's left Cheeky and Savior for dead. I mean, honestly, they've done so much damage to outside. I don't know, maybe there was a chance. It was like a little bit hard to say if he could have got a res off there. I think maybe outside would have pushed him if they had heard that sound cue. But either way, he's played it very safe, and outside have managed to stabilize completely here. So they take position under this wall. It's a good spot. You can see they're hard to siege, as justified by that push.
WQ continue to have a grand old time. 30-30 repeater. It's like the perfect weapon at this kind of a range, and getting some more chip damage going through. DreamFire is another one of those teams that we do want to keep a bit of an eye on, and they are trying to push into Serenity at the moment. Ooh, they've kind of got stuck on the stairs. There's not really anywhere for Serenity to go. They're keeping their heads down. DreamFire can't find them yet anyway, but they've spotted them out now, and that is a very good start to the fight from the Vault of Roy. He's done some good damage, cracked one of the players, gets another crack as well. DreamFire certainly in the advantage for this engagement, and Serenity, they should be out of the picture pretty soon, though. It'll come down to a 1v1, and Roy's got to find a way to save the day. trying to force the reload off, and he's actually overcommitted. And Jesko, sitting behind those knockdown shields, will survive for a moment longer because Boogie Borders
only
jumped on in there for the third party, but DreamFire will be quite disappointed that they were not able to clean that one up.
Yeah, I mean they were looking at that for the longest time. Boogie Borders, they were almost always going to be picking up the remaining KP out of that fight, and yeah, with DreamFire, as you said, kind of overcooking that a little bit. Very, very hard for them to go down in that position. They really should have won that one. But now we've got Bearclaw Gaming pushing up towards Boogie Borders. I don't know if they're expecting this, actually. Just have spotted it out now. But actually running away, tail between their legs here. Interesting that they've given up that spot.
Well, Bearclaw Gaming able to hold on to it for the moment, but as we are pretty well aware, it's not going to end up being a premium position later on in the game anyway. Both teams will have to move out of Echo HQ.
Care package over there.
Gives them a little bit of a line of sight. Get some good information, perhaps, on Devastated Coast and see what buildings are occupied. Plan your rotate. Probably not the luxury that is going to be afforded to Boogie Borders, though doesn't look like Boogie Borders are necessarily going to shy away from this fight. You need to be careful with their heads, though, considering there's a Kraber here for heck. Not sure how they keep finding Krabers, but tell you what, you can't complain.
I like the position LU is playing here. So they have switched down from playing underneath when we saw them get pushed out by SWQs to up on the height here. And I think if you think about how these Devastated Coast zones play out, oftentimes, you know, apart from that spot up the top, across the zip line, on top is probably maybe the second or third best spot. So I like that LU have switched that one up as Bolin starts creating some havoc over here at Launchpad.
Yeah, that's not going to actually last too long. It was WMFireBird on the receiving end of it, and they've just been knocked out pretty quickly, pretty easily. It's you know, actually one of the better games so far for the night for DNZ, who've been a little bit up and down. Obviously, the contests are being a little bit of a concern for both them and KPG, but DNZ have come out ahead this time around, and they have a chance to put some pretty good points on the board, some pretty necessary points. Maybe get themselves inside the top 10 for this lobby. Wouldn't be a bad spot to be in, considering you contest it every single game.
Yeah, it's been a tough one for DNZ, but it's a life they know. I mean, they were getting contested up there by Adal Wolves last year as well, so it's not like it's a new sensation for them. Hopefully they've learned to deal with that that fear, that amount of pressure coming into every game. Circle continues to pull very much south.
Roger.
SWQ in arguably the most godly of the god spots on the entire map.
Well, they haven't had to move, have they? Resources are still looking okay. Still a little bit to play with. And we're whittling away at our teams, 14 remaining. I think traditionally at this stage of the game we've had a couple more teams still alive. But it has been a particularly bloodthirsty one so far for match number 5. An ultimate game of the night for us here in APAC South. Here comes OE on the rotate. They're going to go up above Boogie Borders over the top. And, ending up in the armory, which is the worst place to find yourself.
Oh my god, Zoyo has just made the run of his life. He popped dog as Bloodhound, and somehow it looks like he's almost playing with smokes. The way he just dodged bullets into the zone. Oh my god, he actually found a sick spot. I'd love to see this if we could. Zoyo from White Flash has found a great little ratting spot here. Overlooked Entertainment are actually nearby him. But I don't think they'd be able to see him because he's wedged himself up into a little piece of the terrain there.
Yeah, the side of a building or something by the looks of it. stand directly behind one of these, whatever things it is. By the way, we'll get to that in a minute because AGL potentially going to be in a spot of bother right here. It's either them or Boogie Borders. Boogie Borders not really too keen to press the issue, but they are going to have to get a bit of a wriggle on. A minute left before that zone starts to move its way in, and now that they're making a bit of noise, Bearclaw Gaming are actually setting up a portal in this direction as well, with Belkin still on the Wraith. So a very quick third party could be on offer as well for Bearclaw Gaming if Boogie Borders aren't too careful, and they don't seem to be super aware of the fact that a team could be well behind them. Of course, OE's floating around too. All getting a little bit messy on that side of the map, and we're kind of waiting to see what's actually going to happen when that kicks off. Godhand have lost a member.
Boogie Borders done well to stay up here, but next move's going to be a lot harder, I dare say. Maybe have to challenge Overlooked or Bearclaw Gaming to their south. See, things are kicking off here.
Legends Gaming
start to move in.
Just getting knocked out there again, so another sort of average performance as far as they're concerned. Their standards certainly. This WQ. Got a player on the floor.
Ooh.
It's going to prompt much of a push. DNZ are on top of them, and now having a bit of a look. They're going to have to break open that door.
Popping Arc Stars in. Do they hit? Oh, yeah. See, at least one of them did. But they're actually not pushing the issue too much. SWQ, they've walled off, so they can't really get through here. DNZ will go back on top. You often will see in the later game, you know, a team also taking the top of this building as well. But that position we were talking about that LU had before often has angles on it. That said, LU are down to one person. They've only got Copcaps left alive, so they're once again in shambles. It's honestly been a disappointing game for LU, considering this circle is unbelievably good for them.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have much longer to talk about, though, because Lightning Unicorn do just get eliminated right there. Overlooked Entertainment might be following suit in just a second here as well. Facey! Nice shutdown, and Big C alongside. Does keep it alive. It's Bearclaw Gaming that actually are finished off instead, so a little bit of a surprise maybe for us. Whether or not Surprise will survive is going to be the next question here. Bo checks out. He's going to try to keep some covering fire going through.
Oh, wow. They're literally using the Radiant Transfer there to add just some extra shields behind that knockdown shield. Keeps him alive, but oof, over here, team's moving more and more south here. Hero's trying to keep it alive against outside. This is a tough one.
Well, surviving for the moment, but Overlooked Entertainment is not, as Boogie Borders have wrapped in behind them. They also now have to be aware that someone is going to try to do to them what they've just done to their opponents. It's AGL jumping on in there. The caustic damage, or not the caustic damage, the catalyst damage is coming through to kick off that engagement. Fussy Iraqi going down to a thermite nade as well, and Boogie Borders are made mincemeat of. It did not last very long. AGL will have a little bit more time to reset. 5 seconds though before the zone starts to push at their back, and they're going to have to get a bit of a move on. It's a big cross to make. They don't have a catalyst wall. They're going to have to do it with Bangalore smokes only.
Burger, this could be their moment, though. They have made the move first into this building, which is potentially, you know, the top building, the very height one we were talking about. That's going to be out next zone. So if Burger can hold this position down, you can see all the way to the left of their screen, they can just focus ahead of them. This is a fantastic spot for the lads who are already in first place.
Yeah, I mean, SWQ and DNZ are still trying to hold on to the high ground for as long as they possibly can. They know first one off is probably the loser in this engagement. It's going to be SWQ straight onto the ground into their own bang smokes to try to at least dissuade some of the engagements heading in their direction. And to be honest, they've done a pretty good job so far. They haven't actually made to hurt all that much. They've got a little bit of a nook and a cranny to hide in here to reset themselves, heal back on up, and actually kind of play over the top of this mound, play the defilade. Use that for cover. It's not a bad spot to be in at this point in time, especially considering teams on the other side are just absolutely peppering at one another.
AGL on the outside. They're playing in the ocean, basically. There's a little rock behind here that's actually going to serve them very well. So I think it's probably between them and Team Burger was the best position, because honestly, I mean, Heroes, you got a God Hand solo, and then you got SWQ playing on the north side. I think they're going to have a little more trouble getting out of this one. Could come down to utility usage though. Pricey, he's got that next interceptor pylon ready to go. Sharky, who's got to be a little bit careful. It actually goes down. They've been full sent here by SWQ, who are making the proactive move to steal that space away from Burger. That is a gutting loss for them.
Gotta wonder if they've gone a little bit too early there though, SWQ, because that's when he opened the door here for Heroes to come through as that third party. There's just no time for SWQ to properly reset, and they'll be dispatched off pretty easily. Now it's going to be AGL wrapping across as well, and they're going to try to hope to do 2 Heroes what was just done by them as they come in quickly before that reset can properly be figured out. And AGL, oh, they're doing a decent job of it so far, but it's actually getting a little bit closer than you would have thought. Heroes are trying their best to survive, but it won't last. And
oh my
so
God.
it is just DreamFire from God Hand, who, well, he's a solo, so he's probably pretty done, though. There was maybe a little bit of a window there where he might have been able to isolate a 1v1. He could still potentially win this if he gets a good couple of shots off. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, though. Low on HP, and it's AGL in the end that will walk away with the victory. A back and forth game. It was hard to call who was going to win that one, but AGL kept their heads down just long enough.
And for the second time, we get a rat coming in second place. Yeah, and I really felt like that time, it wasn't the team that won that decided the game, Lace. It really was SWQ making that push that decided things, because once they did that, all the other teams piled on. Burger never had a chance, and that just made it so easy for AGL to walk away with that from the west side.
Yeah, you know, I dare say, you know, we've seen a couple of evenly balanced games. You know, one team has it in the bag and then another team takes the lead. AGL absolutely frying in that last match. You know, we did see, you know, SWQ open up that fight, like you said. It was great placement from Team Burger in that zone. They're really pulling out their knowledge, you know, because they got to rotate all the way from Zeus Station. So for them having that position that early on was a big brain play. But, you know, unfortunately, someone else wanted that spot, and that was SWQ, and then AGL shortly after.
No, that's a fantastic point, Lace, because that's exactly what we'd been criticizing about Team Burger, and that's something that clearly they have stepped up their game on, because so many times they were just struggling to get even into Zone 3, even Zone 4 sometimes. And here we see them, you know, being in the best spot way further into the game and just making it much later, being able to pick off more kills in the way and also pick up the placement points as well. Unfortunately, sometimes you just can't control what the other teams do. It's one of the realities of Apex, and they might have been able to win that 3v3 against SWQ, but even if they did, they would have got cleaned up shortly afterwards. So that kind of made the decision for them, unfortunately, but you just have to take those, you know, the good with the bad in those kind of situations.
Yeah, and this zone can be a bit punishing for the teams, especially with all these broken buildings and, you know, all the windows and the peak spots. But yeah, as the zone sort of closes in, you're just going to have team after team third partying, which, you know, you're expecting to take a good fight, but then, yeah, you just can't calculate it and you can't get it together, even though there's plenty of shield swaps in the vicinity. It's just too much action for them to be able to do it. But to see AGL, they were sitting around, I think it was 11th, and just to take out the win with 8 kills, Genome, is just exceptional. I know, you know, QQ always does some heavy damage for the team, so it's great to see them come out on top.
Yeah, you know, this is a team we'd been asking for more from. This was a team that was showing up on Mad Maggie last year on World's Edge. You know, won 3 games in a row. Incredible effort from them, but you know, that was a high point in what has sometimes seemed like a bleak landscape when you look at their points throughout the season. But with a big game here in map number 5, they pushed themselves up into 6th spot with 4 teams on 36 and another 2 on 38. Team Burger stand alone at the top, but that middle section is just ripe for chaos here in game 6.
That's right. Teams want to secure their series points as well. So having these scores so close together and almost tied with, what is that, fifth to eighth, going into the last game, they could still solidify themselves some extra series points, which is at the end of the day what you really want to look for. But yeah, Team Burger just sitting out pretty in front. This is exactly what we needed to see from this team, and I bet they're feeling good about it. Akuma there coming in second, 46, just itching behind. I love APAC-South because you never know who's going to win. We see at the start of the match, teams just performing exceptionally well. But when we get into game number 6 and at the end, we're still going to see action. We're still going to be shocked looking at the scoreboards ourselves because we don't know who's going to come out in front.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you saw that there's so many teams that even a single kill point in the next game could determine where they end up. And, the difference in split points between 3rd and 8th is 12 to 18. So that's a big jump that you could get with just a small amount of points.
That's it. We're going to take ourselves a short break, though, Genome, and we're going to come back for game number 6, where we've said it before, but it could be anybody's game. We'll see you shortly.
Surprise.
Welcome back, everyone. It's been a hectic day fueled of caffeine and beams. We have at least 4 teams, I think, tied at 36 points. Team Burger out in front, Akuma close behind. Here at Apex South, we like to keep you on the edge of your seat, where you can't tell exactly the winner until the last game. But, Gino, we've finally reached the last game on Storm Point.
Yeah, feels like Burger might have done it this time, but certainly if you're looking a little bit further down the scoreboard, Lace, as you said, there's so many teams, clustered around there that it could go any way from then on. Akuma's definitely a team that I guess we need to keep our eyes on now. I guess because if we think about the overall standings, they were sitting down in 13th. They hadn't had any particularly good games up until now. And if they pull out, like, say, a second here or something, that could catapult them right up into land contention.
Yeah, so we just need to wait and see if they can pull that out of the bag again. Like you said, they haven't really done too much, but yeah, absolutely frying from AGL from that game. I also want to sort of touch on, it's the last game to what we know as, the Bangalore supremacy. We may see a less Bangalore's due to changes with digi threats coming through. A lot of people have forgotten that we're about to go into Season 20, where we'll have a 2-week break. And then go into something where we might have no idea what these teams pull out.
Man, I'm going to tear up. This is the last game I get to cast that's without perks in Apex Legends. That's, wow.
Yeah, that's it. We've got a few other changes as well that I wanted to touch on. We have crafter changes where, you can only use a crafter once, which, again, will change immensely for our teams. You can't really sit in zone and craft a bunch of med kits and hold out. It's going to be fast fights. But let's take it away. Let's get into our final game here. Game number 6. The excitement continues. Take it away.
Yes, indeed, everything changes after tonight for APAC-South, and indeed for most of Apex Legends. I don't know if there's anything else going on before, or if we're just the last ones, but either way, I tell you what, this will be a nice little send-off for us, at least, before Season 20 shakes things up. Let's enjoy it. Hopefully, it's going to be a good game. NZ out of the dropship, and they're going to be contested again by the looks of things, so we'll see whether or not maybe them or KPG are going to have a potentially pretty short little goodbye to Season 19.
Both teams right on top of each other. They don't get many options in where to land because of how far the dropship was away from each other, which makes those initial contests even more interesting, right? How you make those decisions where you're going to land. Obviously, when you're doing these contests, you need to look down to the very micro level of, like, where are guaranteed gun spawns in this POI, because you can actually look at that sort of thing to try and give yourself just those little edges that make such a big difference.
Yeah, most definitely. Actually, in this case, it seems like everyone's going to be quite respectful, and maybe a gentleman's agreement. Maybe not from Bible, but generally speaking, no one kind of going at one another. It seems like we're more than happy to see it with a bit of a calmer start. A little bit of damage there from Bible, but really nothing to speak to. And have a look at that shift. That's again going to go straight over toward Down Beast. And what more fitting way than to finish toward Down Beast for our Storm Point.
Yeah, I mean, also potential, I think, for it to swing back towards the mill. But, Strafing Flame has already taken the Trident into right into Down Beast and is going to be starting to set up his Watson fences right in there. They're actually having to thermite the doors off because I guess that's... Yeah, Overlook had gooed those up, which is a shame, right? Because you get into a POI this early, you're hoping to take those doors for yourself. Obviously, they can withstand a lot more punishment if you hold the cat walls yourself, have to hold the reinforce on the doors yourself. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the option. But with Catalyst...
Wouldn't mind seeing a mill finish either. I think for me, those are two of my favorite spots on the map. I did drop the mill when I used to play on this one a fair bit. The mill and Stormcatcher were my go-tos. So, pretty happy with The mill is a finishing location here as well as a send-off as far as send-offs go. Overlook Entertainment will not be too disappointed if it goes toward down Beast. Of course, they're getting a lot of damage done. Already working pretty hard on those Evos, which won't be a problem next season. They go about it in a different way. Here's Lightning Unicorn, who've really had quite a troublesome day. It's just not quite come together again for them. 13 points is not really enough to trouble the scorers, and sitting in 19th overall is definitely less than ideal. But who knows? Maybe one final game, go out with a bang. Who knows?
Yeah, obviously sitting a little further down, but considering how, you know, tight that middle bunch is, room for improvement here for Lightning Unicorn. SWQ, 4th spot for them. I don't know if that's a situation they've found themselves in a lot, but
I would imagine not. Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job tonight. They've been plugging away. They're going to continue to do so. It's Lightning Unicorn that are going to be receiving some damage from that car of Yuling. Betrayed back though, as Donut will fall, so there's still a lot to be said for this one for Lightning Unicorn as well. Crazy Kong down to a one shot, and the damage from the zone will probably be enough. Lalabang was in there as well. Either way, it's onto Yuling, who will clutch it out. And SWQ will get themselves another couple of points on the board. Holding on to 3rd for now, and Lightning Unicorn, maybe not the worst thing in the world to say goodbye to what has been a pretty tumultuous night for them. They get out of there pretty early, and I dare say there might have been a couple of Alt F4s involved.
I mean, SWQ basically won that one by default in the end. You know, if you've got Shields alive versus Health alive and you're having a ring battle, it's kind of hard to take it out. Does just drop a little bit of that ring damage in the end, but
Let's go that way.
NoCredit over here in the mill. DreamFire have left. And if DreamFire are going, then, yeah, well, at that point, you are expecting it to be more of a down beast ring. So they've taken one of the buildings just a little bit further north, and NoCredit. Ooh, they might have actually, I mean, White Flash should have noted there that someone's on the crafter. Are they opting to actually go for the fight? It doesn't look like it. They just want to take position up in the mill. Interesting.
Let's go there.
Team Burger behind Down Beast. Certainly haven't got themselves into one of the premium positions, but it's workable. You can keep your head down as well at the back of Down Beast. There's often situations where like you can just creep up the backside.
It does depend on how far the ring pulls back in, but yeah, I think you can definitely make those positions work very well. I mean, what are they've got Horizon this game as well. Waze is on the Horizon. I just want to double check if he's been on that for the whole time. Burger, yeah, okay, they've been playing that for all of Storm Point, not World's Edge, but certainly Storm Point. So of course that gives them the option to, you know, take some height if they want to pop up to the top of Down Beast at some point. If they, you know, maybe a team up there gets bang ulted off, Overlooked Entertainment, for instance, takes a bit too much fire. You know, they have that option to start causing some chaos, make a bit of a ruckus up top.
So we're going to be seeing a lot of that, actually. And those are some good shots out of the 30-30 repeater from Big Z. Getting a crack. Just going to have to be happy with that damage, though. There's not really much you can do from on top of Down Beast apart from some chip damage. It's certainly not going to be a situation where you get some good damage and then you push off, because you'll be giving up God Spot if you do that.
Yep, ring indicating very much it's going towards Down Beast there. And if you were incredibly fast at like faster than I could even comprehend at counting, you would have been like, why is there only 17 teams on the screen right now? That's because SWQ and DNZ were outside that, still crafting in the ring.
Yep, Launchpad and Devastated Coast, respectively, for those two teams. So they've got a long way to come. But it's still not too late to really start to make that move, especially if you know that you're not going to be that first team over toward Down Beast and you're not really going to get a position that you want. Sometimes it is better to sort of hedge your bets and just come in with a lot of resources available, lots of meds, lots of shields. That's probably the methodology behind that decision. And a bit of a back and forth happening here. It's Outsiders that's going to be kicking things off initially. And it'll be up against Bearclaw Gaming on the other side of this discussion. Got Bocek for Heck at the moment. Always keen to have one of the sniper-esque weapons in hand.
Outside actually get pushed back here by the energy barricade and a flurry of arc stars, and that means Nolsang's going to be the first one to go down out of the 6 competitors. Outside now looking to come back from this 2v3, but Bearclaw used the energy barricade and the shield jammers to push further up. Outside now very much on the run. They don't get the other 2 KP. They're going to leave it for now.
Well, everyone's going to have to get a bit of a wriggle on. Luckily, that is the slow side of the zone, so they're not going to have to move too quickly, but they'll have to move out of that building and into the trenches, and Akuma will be waiting for them at the end of the trench if they continue to follow. Looks like Bearclaw have other ideas, and they're going to wrap back around behind and maybe come up in through checkpoint instead, which is a pretty uncontested area of the map right now, honestly. Still, we'll hold that thought for the moment.
A flow almost causes problems to Wei there. A swift 155 onto him, but luckily Team Burger get away with it, and they trade a Phoenix for KP.
Seems reasonable, especially with Team Burger sitting in first place. And you need to be really eking out another few placement points, a couple of kill points here, and they probably do hold on to first for this lobby. AGL, oh, they're in the thick of things, and there's lots to speak about here. Smokes everywhere, QQ on the ground now, FPS down as well. It's just Jackie, but that's going to be enough to dislodge WMFireBird, who will be the second team eliminated out of the final game of the night. AGL survive at least this onslaught.
Yeah, I would say an uncharacteristically bad series from WMFireBird, who we have come to expect a little bit more from, and who we are, wondering if they can maintain a position in the top 8 to get over towards LAN. Boogie Borders, another team, obviously, who's very much cementing themselves in that top 8, are looking to pick up some KP here and further improve their situation. Kill Devil, I think, are about to get stuck in between SWQ and Boogie Borders. Not a fun spot to be.
Nope, never fun to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. SWQ, though, they've decided to sort of push south, and they're going to take that fight to Kill Devil. Boogie Borders are more than happy to take the time to rotate into zone instead of getting stuck in a fairly nonsense fight, really. Like, there's not a whole lot to be gained here, unfortunately, for both these 2 teams, but now that it's kicked off, you can't really just say, alright, we're done, and walk away. Crazy Kong has gone down, but they're still doing quite a number onto KD here, is SWQ. Up onto the high ground as well. It's going to be hard to win this one for KD, who've been having a bit of a difficult run all night long, and they will be eliminated as well. SWQ are doing a really good job for themselves. 44 points there. Akuma's going to pick up a couple more to build that gap for 3rd to 2nd, but overall, SWQ in 3rd here have got to be saying this is a pretty damn good night.
Certainly a chance for them to push even further up. We've got Akuma sitting in 2nd on 49. I'm definitely keeping my eyes on Serenity, who are in 5th right now with 39 points, because once you get a look at the map, you will understand why they are occupying a building. It's going to be very hotly contested in the next few minutes. DreamFire also in a decent spot, but Team Burger, unfortunately, the shift has not favored them.
Yeah, but to be honest, they don't really need a massive game here. They already had an 11-point lead going into this one. So you think if you can get, 5, 6, up to 10 points, you're already putting yourself in a really good spot to probably just have enough to get over the line. Akuma, well, they've got some points out of this game already as well. They've still got quite a bit to pick up, but it's going to be hard to imagine Akuma coming away with a massive win here. It would be a huge ask from a position like this. You can already tell how much pressure they're under in this position as they are, and Heroes is wrapping underneath them as well. So I don't know that Akuma's going to be long for this world, and if they go down, no one is going to be catching Burger.
Yeah, there's really no chance at that point, but Akuma, as you say, a bit of a gauntlet for them to go through. Creeping barrage from Laheen takes one of them down. They're going to go for the res, but I think both Legends and Heroes hear that, and they will push in to finish them off. As you say, that more than likely secures Burger the win here in Groups A and B.
Yeah, Heroes holding on the outside of the compound as well. We actually have one of the buildings. Kissan's just locking that down at the moment. They don't seem to be under all that much pressure at the moment. They're happy to just keep things pretty chill. But can't say the same for outside, who are really down to just A flow, and yeah, it's not really going to last too long for him.
Pete with the arc stars there. Oh, good grenade usage, utility usage there from our Chinese friend. Okay, that's the map I wanted to see, and as you can tell, Serenity definitely in the best spot there. AGL found themselves a nice little pocket, and Boogie Borders, you know, they'll think about DNZ and SWQ down the bottom. But, you know, they've got a good chance also, because they're sitting up on top of a decent rock, to try and hold out that south side. But Serenity, as long as that Boogie, the Catalyst, can keep those doors fortified and keep the baddies away, are going to be in a hell of a spot to push up from 5th.
Yeah, I mean, this could also be a bit of a return to form for Legends Gaming, who have been having a bit of a tougher night tonight than what we would have anticipated, but a good finish. Rocket themselves back up the scoreboard for this lobby and, you know, still put together a pretty respectable total and have a crack at holding on to first place at the end of this split. Overlook Entertainment lose a player. So they're looking a little bit worse for wear, but they're still able to put some hurt down on the teams below them as well. Legends are on the move. They know they've got to be on the move. The zone's pulling away from them, but they've really got to be good about picking their timing here. They're hoping that they can potentially find a third party on the way in. SWQ fighting right now against Heroes. They can hear those shots going back and forth, and now they decide to spring their trap, but Legends have got the zone pushing at their back, so they have to move quickly here.
Okay, SWQ looking at Heroes and Legends. Sounds like a bit of a myth. Can SWQ, the underdogs in this story, really take out Legend Gaming? Sitting up on top of our overall standings right now. They do make it into the zone. Can they make it any further?
Oh, Easy Flash is going to go down. There's no doubt about that. There's just way too many crossfire angles here for Legends Gaming to deal with, and unfortunately their rough night is going to end as a rough night. It's not going to be much more than that. SWQ have popped themselves up in a second overall for the moment, but that's about as far as they are going to go. They're also now taken down, and Heroes is the last team standing.
Oh, man.
In the position over the gravity cannon.
God, I saw Bastion going in there with a Gold Bolt Eva 8. That thing shoots so fast. It's almost like an automatic shotgun at that point.
Brap. Love to see it. DNZ. A little bit quiet. Again, contests they've had to deal with. Funnily enough, they're doing pretty well when they actually do get past those contests, but at the hands of Fussy and Raki, Boogie Borders here, they may still lose a player. DNZ down on Bolin, Joker, and Papa quite low. So Fussy and Raki, so both teams will back away from one another. Secure a reset. No revive just yet, but DNZ has the ability of getting Bolin back up.
Tries to play off the Radiant transfer there, going in just a little bit of a window, and it actually works out because Heroes come by with the assist. The alley-oop from those two teams will finish off DNZ, and that means the Boogie Borders, well, they'll only get out with one. Let's see if Raki can make it any further, because I think Heroes have gotten onto the fact that there's only one left.
Yeah, they've chased him down. There's just nowhere for Raki to go, really. He shouldn't be making it to the rocks, but somehow he has. He's crossed. He's run the beach.
He's got 10 energy ammo left, by the way.
Well, there's another little bit, actually, for him. Oh, and a player's dropped down right in front of him. You would not believe it, but either way, I think Raki might not be long for this world. The armor swap wasn't even enough to keep him alive, and there he has been eliminated. In that meanwhile, DreamFire are under the pump. The artillery is really landing all around them. Trying to pop down some smoke, some walls to provide a little bit of cover, but it's not hard cover. That's the problem. DreamFire can still get shot. U2 can get thrown in their direction. Arcstar doesn't finish them off. They're sitting in a bin. trying to survive.
I mean, you know you're in trouble when multiple members of your team are popping med kits at once. Who's watching? Who's going to be doing the damage to the other teams like AGL that are pushing up, trying to steal their spot? And AGL do it. They've got a nice little place here to try and get the res off on Jackie, but oh, the peek from Lahim comes in at just the right time, and they get the full finish. That's a terrible spot, but luckily enough, there's already a Moby res beacon there. AGL get the reset in no time flat.
Lahim, he would have been licking his lips there, salivating, but unfortunately the 3-course meal wasn't quite on offer, at least not yet. It's not ready. You have to get the feeling, though, that Heroes is in a very good spot to actually finish this game off with a dub. They control the entire southern side of the zone, the entire beach. Anyone that's going to have to cross in their direction has to kind of cross no man's land. Look at where Kissans is. There's just no cover there at all. So a lot of map control for Heroes right here. The other 3 teams are set up inside of the compound. They'll fight each other on the way out.
Godhand playing on top of the building. Serenity, as we talked about long ago, have been sitting in the building as happy as Larry for this whole time. They've got 3 kills to their name, and now they are in the top 4. AGL will push around behind Heroes now that they have all 3 members back alive. This is a good play. Heroes not in a great spot now. They've been wrapped around on, and the catwalls have pushed them into a very unfavorable position.
Yeah, Heroes have kind of been corralled into a very bad fight, actually, and it's not gone well for them at all. Bastion's the only man standing, and, well, that doesn't last very long at all. So Heroes do get eliminated in 4th, and from a spot where I thought they would actually be the team to win.
Serenity have finally come out of their shell now. You've got the energy barricade ready to go because they were playing from the inside. They had all of those ultimates still up and available, and now they get the final fight against AGL.
Well, AGL are gunning for a top spot in this lobby now, 56 points. I'm not sure exactly how many Burger ended up on, but they might still be able to catch up with the win right here. And Jackie, FPS, QQ, they're trying their best. FPS is down on the ground. He's gone, done and dusted, but it is still going to be AGL as the champions of the final game of the night. And they're going to go back-to-back, round 5, round 6. And the question is going to be, will that be enough to catch Burger? I'm not sure. I think it might just be if I had to hedge my bets, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting one to find out. I think we'll just have to wait and get that scoreboard revealed to us in a second. So stick around to get the final answer to that. AGL, what a killer finish to the night.
I saw just going into that spectacular game number 6, you know, love a down B zone, such a large POI where a lot of teams sort of rotated in quite early. Akuma went down around about 13th place, which could have been really good for Team Burger there as they were sitting in 2nd. Might be what they needed to keep the lead, but then we have SWQ creep up as they solidified a couple of kills in the final games. They were sitting around 3rd, but then AGL was so close behind, and I did see that they collected several kill points along the way. So we're literally going to have to check the scoreboard because it is literally anybody's game.
Yeah, it was a massive finish there for AGL. Quite a few kills. I'm not even going to say how many because, you know, I really want to see that reveal right at the end. But damn, what a way to finish this off. And AGL in week 4, you know, as we said, everything is going to change from here on. So, you know, if you got something to say in this era of Apex that we're about to see finished, you got to do it now. Week 4 was the only time, really, that you had to make that happen.
Yeah,
it's been an interesting night, hasn't it? Obviously, you know, there's that whole discussion around the Group A, and I think it was who got the extra game on this patch. It would have been Group A and B, I believe, and C might have one lobby less, and they'll have to play one lobby more on the next patch. So that's something that those guys are going to have to be thinking about as well, cognizant of. And I think that's a big benefit for the teams toward the bottom end of the standings, that, you know, in all that chaos, they might be able to jump higher up on the standings, where otherwise, you know, if things continue to play out in a quote-unquote more standard fashion, you know, without as many changes, then you still expect to see the top dogs on top.
Yeah, we just saw, you know, at these final moments here, AGL sort of having a nice little bit of space to play with. A couple of kills you can see there, 7 in and amongst with 1 there, and just exceptional from them from these 2 previous games. And this could be theirs, as they were sitting pretty in about 5th place.
Yep, it's they're an exciting team to watch as well. You know, obviously a lot of MNK talent on that team. 14 kills. Okay, we get the KP revealed with AGLs taking out a 26-point game. I mean, you know, we look at these leaderboards going into Game 5 and we're like, oh, you know, there's a little chance that someone could do this, right? But you never expect someone to actually pull out something, you know, even above 20 kills, let alone 26.
There was a 21-point lead for Burger going into that game. So 26 points, it might be enough. I mean, Burger, I don't know how many points they got. I don't know what exactly it's going to look like. I mean, they got 2 kills in there, 12th place. Is that enough? I guess. I think, like I said, I think AGL might have just done this.
Yeah, and we can even have a look at SWQ there, guys, with 10 kills in 9th position, and they were sitting about 3rd.
Yeah, look, yeah, so many spatters in the works here potentially for these teams as we, I'm sure we'll get that final look very soon. Boogie Borders, again, probably just doing the job. Here we go. Let's reveal that final scoreboard. AGL do it by 2 points. 2 KP. Look at that, 30-point, you know, placement points apiece. And then just 2 extra frags is the difference between AGL and Team Burger.
Yeah, gotta be a bit of a tilter though if you're Team Burger, because they were really leading from the front. I think from probably Game 4, 5, and 6, they were going into that looking pretty solid. But just pipped at the post by AGL. Great finish from a team that was kind of like, I mean, look, they weren't really doing a whole lot in those first 4 games. Like, they had 13th place, 0 kills, 15th place, 3 kills. Then they had a pretty decent round 3, 5th place, 7 kills. So that's a pretty good game. Then 18th place, 0 kills. So there's like 3 games where like AGL have really not been able to put too much on the board. And then 1 decent game and then 2 back-to-back victories. And obviously that last game was quite a big victory as well. So, yeah, solid stuff from AGL. They didn't feel like they were a threat for Team Burger going into round 6. But it's funny how the game plays out sometimes.
Which is also hilarious, right? Because when you think about how well they did when they had that triple win last split, that was 3 games on World's Edge. And here they are popping off on Storm Point.
Yeah, and you see Akuma there as well. They were sitting nicely in 2nd place just to drop down to 5th. So it's just absolutely insane that we were, you know, that you think that you've got it and then you have a look and then AGL just takes it from underneath. And that paved the way as well for SWQ to sort of go in, you know, they were about 3rd, so they dropped to 4th. But then Serenity, you know, they're a bit tied there. So it's just exceptional for these players. But I do believe we might even have a sneaky little interview for you guys, because these players have been absolutely amazing today, and they have, you know, been playing some for about 12 matches. So you definitely feel the pressure from them, but hopefully we can get touch on that soon. But yeah, exceptional stuff all around from our teams, and I'm sure they're feeling the heat.
Yeah, I actually wanted to touch on Akuma there, because I think when they died in Game 6, they were in 2nd place, which is kind of crazy to think about how much actually changed up from that point, because they did get knocked out, I would say, fairly early on, like early to mid stages of that round. But you think like, okay, we're in 2nd place as we die for the last game. It's probably not going to change up too much. You know, we might still be in a pretty solid spot on the end, but then to drop all the way down to 5th. And look at how close this lobby is. Like 50-50, 49-48 in toward the middle of the pack there. And that's a very, very tight sort of discrepancy. And obviously even then going down to like 43, 40, you know, one good game from either DreamFire or Overlooked could have potentially put them up a little bit higher in the standings, obviously, as well. And I don't know, I mean, for DreamFire, I guess they're a team that we probably should discuss, given that, you know, they're such a household name when it comes to APAC-South. Was that enough today from them? You know, I think it obviously was a big thing that we were sort of hoping to see DreamFire do well. They did do reasonably okay in that first game, but sorry, in that first lobby, I should say. They get the 16 points out of that one, but was it 7th, 6th or 7th there for this lobby? I don't really know if that's enough to kind of keep them comfortable going into next week.
I mean, especially when you look at the other teams around them, right? I mean, they're competing with the likes of Team Burger, like WMFireBird, Akuma, who are doing okay there. All of these guys are down. That was, I just read off 13th to 16th in the overall standings, or at least as it was halfway through today. I'm not sure if we'll get to see that updated with the overall standings with that last series coming in there as well. But I mean, yeah, there's so many teams that they could push out. You've got like Outside are currently sitting in 5th spot, or MDY White there, who, scraped through and then did fantastically at the last LAN, sitting in 8th spot at the moment. I mean, I thought 8 spots was honestly going to be enough to accommodate a lot of these great teams in APAC South, but we're showing our depth here, honestly, in how many teams we've got coming through and performing well and looking like they could be deserving of a LAN spot.
Yeah, and when we come out the back of it as well, we've obviously got our overall series points, and that's kind of what matters going into it. We had Legends Gaming sort of lead the pack. I think they were sitting about 76, I believe. So, but then, that game from Serenity, where, they just did an exceptional job, could actually push them closer to what Legend Gaming is in the series points.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of work still to be done, right? We've only got the 1 week yet to go, so there's, I guess, not a whole lot of time really to sort of stake your claim. Each team is going to get to play at least once. It's Group A that get to play, so it's Group C that get to play twice. So A and B get to play once, Group C playing twice next week. So it's Group C that in that discussion that we were talking